subscribe, like the video, and, if possible, join Patreon. But if you don't have much money, you can support the channel by watching the novels on euroaudiobooks.com. Remember that you can participate in the polls so that your favorite novel gets published for free.
Synopsis. But the other party told him that love is the most powerful magic in the world and asked him to try to influence those who want to die. Lucas once suspected that the Olby had cast the Imperius Curse on his father. At this moment, the system came and brought him elven blood and powerful magic power. Then he needs to give a great speech like Dad, in order to attract the attention of the Ministry of Magic of various countries, so that I can reach Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry smoothly and become stronger there. Of course, if possible. He also planned to help his father tie the Olby back. 001. Lucas Grindelwald, son of the Dark Lord. 1991, July, Austria. The drizzle made ripples on the lake at Wolf Hill. A European-style villa is located on the shore. Brick chimneys and old-fashioned steeple moldings. It proves the ancientness of the villa in front of you. On the third floor of the villa, the blond boy was concentrating on looking at the heavy book in his hand. Lucas, it's time to rest. Today is your 11th birthday. The boy lowered his head and replied softly, "Understood, way to aunt." Vita Rohir came to the boy, reached out, and closed the book in the boy's hand. Lucas, a combination of work and rest, is the most effective way to learn. I was suddenly pulled back from the ocean of knowledge. Made Lucas slightly annoyed. But looking at the woman in front of him, he could only sigh in his heart. Vita Rosier, the thorny rose of France. I have to say that the other party is a beauty. Black hair, deep green eyes, noble and elegant temperament, really fascinating. Pity. The woman in front of me was over 90 years old, although I don't know what method Wada used to maintain his youthful appearance. But Lucas, who has seen magic, knows each other very well. Yes, he is a time traveler. Before crossing, he was a common social animal. After crossing, he is just an orphan without father or mother. Fortunately, he was adopted, and the person who adopted him is also a big celebrity, Gellert Grindelwald. The famous dark wizard was dubbed the title of Dark Lord by many netizens. But in his view, the other party is just a fool who shouted for the greater good and imprisoned himself. After Lucas learned of his identity, he began to work hard. Gahuang swept most of Europe back then and offended many people. Now he lived a comfortable life in Nurmagradry. Lucas, who goes by the Grindelwald surname, was not so lucky. Vita, Aunt. Lucas waved his hand, calling softly to the woman in front of him. Vita Rothier recovered and smiled apologetically, facing Lucas' blonde hair and blue eyes. She is always distracted, because Lucas is so much like the man when he was young. Looking at the child in front of him is still staring at himself. Vita quickly handed over the letter in his hand. "This is your letter. I'll go to the restaurant to prepare it first. Remember to come and eat." Watching the other party leave the room hurriedly, Lucas smiled a little. Every time he used his appearance to tease Vita, the other party's reaction was very funny. Austria, Mr. Lucas Grindelwald on the seat on the third floor, Lakeside, Villa Wolfgang. Although such a day has long been expected. But I really got a letter from the magic school. Lucas still trembled slightly. Turned the envelope over to the back. Look at the school emblem composed of snakes, lions, badgers, and eagles. Lucas paused as he opened the envelope. Unexpectedly, Hogwarts would send him an acceptance letter. Didn't it mean that Hogwarts only recruits wizards of British nationality? Or was he originally born in England? After all, the pen of acceptance and the book of admission at Hogwarts will automatically record the magical baby names in England. Lucas suppressed the question in his heart, took out the parchment inside the envelope, and read it. Hogwarts School Principal, Albus Dumbledore, President of the International Federation of Wizards, Mage, the first-class magician of Sir Merlin, and the chief magician of Wisingamot. We are pleased to inform you that you have been accepted to study at Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry. Enclosed is a list of required books and equipment. Semester is scheduled to start on September 1st, and we will be waiting for your owl to hear from you by July 31st. Vice Principal, female, sincerely, Minerva McGonagall. There are 2 letters in total, except for the admission letter. There's also a list of books and items needed for school. Lucas put the envelope away. He looked at the remaining 2 letters. They are letters from Durmstrang and Bosbaton School of Witchcraft and Wizardry, respectively. For these 2 schools will admit themselves. Lucas wasn't surprised. After all, these 2 schools recruit students from many European countries, especially Durmstrang. This school, famous for the dark arts, would definitely welcome Lucas very much. Just when he was hesitating which school to choose, suddenly, a mechanical sound came from the ear. The system is fully charged. The Divine Great Achievement system is being bound. System traveling through the present 11 years. Lucas thought he was the 1 in 1,000 unlucky one. It seems that Merlin still takes care of me. Lucas chuckled lightly. The system is successfully bound. The first binding. The system will open the Platinum Lottery pool for 2 hours. The prize pool is opening. Platinum prize pool. Lucas's head was full of question marks. Watching the countdown to the prize pool that appeared in front of him, Lucas frowned and asked, "System, tell me about your functions in detail." "Lucas, there's something I need to let you know. There's something wrong with Abernathy, and there's even worse news." At this moment, Vita Rohir's voice came from outside the door. It's just that the other party's tone was a little rushed this time. It can make Vita, who can survive the wind and waves, become like this. It is enough to prove how serious this matter is. 002. Crisis? Assemble the saints. Vita Rohir frowned slightly and pushed open the door of the study. When she saw Lucas' calm eyes, the anxiety in my heart has eased a lot. "Vita, Aunt, what happened?" "Abernathy has received news that the French and German Ministry of Magic have seized many of our stores in the 2 places, and the Ministry of Magic in other regions seems to want to follow suit." Clatter, clatter, clatter. Lucas' fingers tapped on the wooden railing. "Also, if it's just such a small matter, it won't make you so anxious." Vita glanced at the boy in front of him appreciatively. "There's also a message from Abernathy that German Aurors and some wizard from Austria are coming to us. They probably know that you turn 11 today, and they don't seem to intend to let you go to school. The magic world is getting more and more depraved, and they shamelessly bully me, a kid." Although Lucas said so, but there was no panic on his face. He looked at the 3 letters on the table. He took the Hogwarts acceptance letter with a chuckle. Under Vita Rohir's gaze, Lucas replied with a beautiful cursive handwriting. "Thank you for your letter. It is my honor to be admitted to Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry. Sincerely, Lucas Grindelwald." "Hogwarts? Theirs." Before Vita could finish speaking, Lucas interrupted with a smile. "Albus Dumbledore's school. I know what you're worried about, but as the greatest white wizard of this century, at least he won't do anything to a kid like me. In this regard, Dumbledore is indeed much better than the people in the Ministry of Magic of various countries." Hear the words, "the greatest white wizard of the century." Vita's expression was full of disdain. All the saints have an unspeakable hatred for Dumbledore. If it weren't for him back then, Gellert wouldn't have been imprisoned in Nurmengard himself, and he hasn't taken a step for decades. Lucas chuckled and said, "Go and inform Abernathy Uncle to close our stores in Paris and Berlin, and only keep the company in the Muggle world. In addition, I also need the help of Vita, and call all the saints. I have something to say to them." "All? Lucas, you should know that most saints are to you. I know they don't approve of me, but this time it's about the future of the saints. Please believe me, I can handle it well." Vita Rohir looked at the child in front of her. The 2 looked at each other for a long time, and she suddenly smiled. "Lucas has been dealing with saints since he was 7 years old. Until now, I can be completely in charge of the house. He's so similar to Gellert Grindelwald. Same elegance, same brilliance, same confidence." Vita Rohir could think of no reason for her refusal. "Okay, I'll go now." The moment she turned around and walked out of the study, only to hear Lucas' voice coming from behind again. "Vita, Aunt, tell the Abernathy uncle that in less than a year, I'll have these stores reopening across Europe. Well, Abernathy is always at ease with you, and I'm sure he'll have no complaints." Until the other party walked out of the study. Lucas leaned back in his chair and closed his eyes. As Gellert Grindelwald's son, even adopted son, the gentleman of the Ministry of Magic wished that he would die immediately. "System, continue to introduce your functions." Answer to the host, This system is called the Divine Great Achievement System. As the name suggests, this system was born to help the host complete various achievements. Achievements include, but are not limited to collection, exploration, fame, major events, etc. Each achievement can be obtained with achievement points and basic rewards. Every 100 achievement points can participate in the common prize pool draw, and the prize pool includes bronze, silver, gold, and platinum rewards. Every major festival, the system will open the holiday special platinum prize pool, which will greatly increase the probability of winning platinum rewards. Hear the last sentence of the system. Lucas suddenly had a bad feeling in his heart. Excuse me, what is the probability of winning the platinum reward in the common prize pool? Common prize pool. The probability of bronze reward is 71.2%, silver 24.7%, gold 3.8%, platinum 0.3%. Heh. Lucas sneered. Sure enough, it's the same routine as those lottery online games in the previous life. Open my character attributes. Name, Lucas Grindelwald. Age, 11 years old. Identity, leader of the Saints Investment Group, son of Gellert Grindelwald, freshman in the Hogwarts Reserve. Bloodline, none. Talent, none. Magic strength, 3. Normal child. Magic level. Charms, 6. Transfiguration, for black magic. 8. Divination, 3 potions, 1 skills. Occlumency, level 9. Fire shield, level 7. Killing curse, level 1. Cruciatus curse, level 1. Imperius Curse, level 6. Magic items, none. Achievement points, 0. See your own black magic talent. The corner of Lucas' mouth twitched. Sure enough, Grindelwald made sense to adopt him. The system is similar to what I guessed. It's not in vain for me to choose to go to Hogwarts. As a traveler who is familiar with the original work, going to Hogwarts to complete the so-called achievements is not the same as playing a game with a strategy. Lucas, who is still weak at the moment, silently praised his shrewdness. Character attributes are turned off. Watch the platinum prize pool counting down. Lucas felt that the first thing to do was to collect some achievement points as soon as possible. And at this moment, there's just one place that's good for some achievements. Nurmengard, Snow Mountain Castle, Gellert Grindelwald's prison. When Vita Rohir heard that Lucas was going to Nurmengard, she was not surprised. In fact, Lucas goes to Grindelwald's magical education every week. When the two walked out of the villa, it was found that there were many unidentified people around the villa. Lucas greeted everyone elegantly and politely. Waita then apparat while they watched. When the wizard in charge of monitoring reacted, the two of them had long since disappeared. 003. Gellert Grindelwald under the Imperius Curse. Austria, Nurmengard, Snow Mountain Castle. For the greater good, look at the slogan Fong Ming engraved on the gate of the castle. Lucas chuckled lightly. Vita Aunt, you can start now. Vita Rothier took out his wand without hesitation. A silver light flew into the sky. Boom! The rays of light exploded, and a sign unique to the saint appeared in the sky. Lucas looked at the two capital GS back-to-back next to the Hallows sign. It is suspected that Grindelwald incorporated his initials into it, although the other party does not admit it. Saint's mark reappears. Whether it is a saint who believes in Grindelwald, or the wizards of the Ministry of Magic in nearby countries, were all surprised. Soon, these people set off to the place where the mark was. As the former headquarters of the saints, Nurmengard Castle is very large. Grindelwald is self-imprisoned in the top tower of the castle. Lucas, do you really decide to go to Hogwarts? We have very little influence in England, and I'm worried that you are in danger. Lucas is slowly exploring the castle in front of him. Hear Vita's worried words. He smiled and said, "It's not me, but we all go. Thank Gale for his decision not to attack England. So, if we enter England, the British magic community has no reason to refuse. After all, we are legal businessmen now. Compared with other countries, I think England is more suitable for our development." Of course, Vita Rohir understood this too. It's just that because the Old Bee is in England, the Saints try to stay away from that land. Not long, the two came to the tower of the castle. Congratulations to the host for completing the exploration achievement. Nurmengard and obtained 50 achievement points. Because the host obtained achievement points for the first time, triggering 10 times critical strike. Reward change. 500 achievement points. TSK. Lucas looked slightly dissatisfied. I knew that there would be a crit reward for the first achievement. He went to a more valuable place. Gal, how have you been lately? Lucas opened the wooden door and asked Gellert, who was sitting on the bed in a daze. It's not bad. Recently, I recalled the past and got some new insights. Although he is 108 years old. But Gellert Grindelwald looked like he was in his 80s or 90s. Thanks to Lucas' intervention, the other party is not as miserable as in the original book. The prison cell is full of warmth after many renovations. The bookshelves all around are also filled with books that can be used for entertainment. Lucas crouched in front of him, looking at the pair of blue eyes that were the same as his own. He said, Gale, decades have passed. Are you still imprisoning yourself in this ghost place? We need you, the saints need you. It took Grindelwald a while to reply. Is there any trouble? Seeing the other party change the topic again. Vita Roher's eyes at the door were a little dim. Lucas had expected it a long time ago, got up and pretended to be relaxed, and said, It's nothing. It's just that stores in places such as Berlin and Paris have been raided for various reasons. In addition, the Ministry of Magic of the two countries seems to be planning to take me back. Seeing a wave in Grindelwald's eyes, Lucas' lips curled up a bit. The cell has been quiet ever since. After a while, I heard Grindelwald say, You are not a person who swallows your anger. What are you going to do next? Gale, what do you think of me taking people to the two countries to make a big fuss? Hee. Let's not say that your magic power is still at the level of a child. Even those people may not obey your orders, right? So, Gale, do you have any good advice? Grindelwald raised his head and stared at the boy in front of him. Love is the most powerful magic in this world. Lucas, maybe you could try to influence them. Is this the new insight you got recently? Grindelwald gazed at him and nodded slowly. Lucas looked back to the door in surprise. Merlin's beard, Vita, Aunt. Come and see. Gale is controlled by that old bee with the Imperius Curse. No, I must go to the old bee to settle the score. Looking at Lucas, who was yelling. Vita showed a dumbfounding expression. After playing around, Lucas looked at his cheap dad seriously. Gale, it seems that our ideas coincide. England is indeed a good place. Grindelwald was still playing dumb. Indeed, Albus is best at the magic of love, where he is said to have defeated a young man known as the Dark Lord, which is truly remarkable. Lucas, when you arrive in England, you will communicate with Dumbledore more. Maybe you can understand what love is. Lucas rolled his eyes, got up and walked out. When he stepped out of the door, he suddenly stopped and said, Gale, don't worry. I will say hello to that old bee on your behalf. If possible, how about I tie him back for you? Grindelwald's eyes finally changed slightly. Lucas chuckled slightly. Then he bowed slowly to Grindelwald. For the greater good, congratulations to the host for completing an important achievement. Inheritance from father to son. Reward, 500 achievement points. Get out of the cell. Lucas came to a room downstairs. Such a huge Nurmengard castle is Grindelwald's prison alone. Except for the tower, other buildings could be used normally. Lucas sat on a large high-backed chair, enjoying coffee while waiting for the voodoo members to arrive. System, start the lottery immediately. Platinum prize pool. Each draw requires 200 achievement points. The host can draw 5 times in a row. May I ask if you want to draw a lottery? Yes. As soon as the words fell, a pool made of stones appeared in front of Lucas. 5 rays of light flew out from the pool. One of them bloomed with a dazzling platinum color. 004. Void Elves, Saints gather in Nurmengard. Congratulations to the host for winning the bronze reward. 80 gold galleons, 10 pairs of pure cotton socks. Congratulations to the host for obtaining the silver reward. Curse-crushing curse, level 1. Congratulations to the host for getting the gold reward. Talent skill points, 2 points. Congratulations to the host for winning the platinum reward. Bloodline, Void Elf. The system's voice rang 4 times in Lucas's mind. Crushing curse, a powerful attack spell. Lucas learned how to use a long time ago. It is detected that the host has learned the shattering spell, level 1. Do you choose to upgrade? Lucas just chose yes. The shattering curse obtained by the lottery disappeared. Instead, his shattering curse became level 2. Lucas looked at the talent points again, according to the preferred choice. His two highest talents are Black Magic 8 and Charms 6. 2 talent points down. Lucas seemed to have entered an epiphany, especially when it comes to black magic. He felt that he had a new understanding of the black magic he had learned. System, fusion of blood. Feel the magic of the system. Lucas is now even more curious about the so-called bloodline. After a burst of needle-like pain, strong mana burst out from Lucas' body. Vita Rohir is outside preparing for the upcoming Assembly of the Saints. Feel the rich magic. She immediately walked to Lucas' room. Lucas, what happened? Vita pushed open the door and found that Lucas, who was supposed to be in the house, was missing. Just when she was feeling anxious, the space in front of him was suddenly torn open. Afterwards, this irregular space crack gradually expanded. Even Wada could see bits and pieces of cosmic light in it. Immediately afterwards, Lucas stepped out of one of them and suddenly appeared in front of her eyes. Lucas? This is you. Don't worry, I'm just thinking of some interesting tricks, Vita Aunt. I'm going to take a shower after the uncles arrive. Please wait for a while. Little tricks? Vita Rohir didn't think tearing space was a trick. She was shocked. At the same time, I feel that Lucas is becoming more and more incomprehensible. However, none of this matters. The stronger Lucas became, the happier she was. Bathroom. System. Open character attributes. Name. Lucas Grindelwald. Age. 11 years old. Identity. Leader of the Saints Investment Group. Son of Gellert Grindelwald. Freshman in the Hogwarts Reserve. Bloodline. Void Elf. First Awakening. Talent. Void Fisher Magic Power. 10. Adult Wizard level. Charms. 7 Transfiguration. For Black Magic. 9. Full level Divination. 3 Potions. 1 Skills. Occlumency. Level 9. Fire Shield. Level 8. Killing Curse. Level 2. Cruciatus Curse. Level 2. Imperius Curse. Level 7. Crushing Curse. Level 2. Magic Items. None achievement points. 0. The strength of the elven blood, even if it is initially awakened. It also gave Lucas the magic level of an adult wizard. This is not the limit, it's just the beginning of magic power growth. Luminescence flickering. Look at the fluorescent lights on your fingers. Lucas chuckled and said, casting spells without a wand? It's really a good trump card. The Blood of the Void Elves does not only have these 2 benefits. Since it is called Void, it naturally has related innate abilities. Void Fisher tears the void with its own magic power to achieve the effect of fast movement. If you want to move in space for a long distance, you need to prepare the space coordinates with mental power in advance. Simply put, another version of Apparition. However, what is better than Apparition is that Void Fisher is used well and can also be used as a means of attack. Finally, check the character attributes. Lucas found that his black magic had really improved a little bit. Shut down the system. Looking at himself in the mirror, Lucas shook his head and smiled wryly. I saw that his gold's broken hair has become long and shaggy. There are also 2 pointed ears hidden at the tip of the hair. Even those blue eyes became deeper. Human transfiguration, until he returned to his former self. Lucas let out a long breath. When he came out of the bathroom, Vita Rohir and Abernathy had been waiting for a long time. Lucas, everyone has arrived. Not only our people, but also a dozen Aurors. Hearing Vita's words, Lucas nodded slightly. He looked out the window. Things that looked like black satin were flying all over the sky. Clearing outside Nurmengard. Hundreds of Saints members have gathered at this moment. And this number is still increasing. Lucas took a deep breath, turning around and walking out the door. Let's catch up with everyone. Vita and Abernathy said nothing, silently followed behind him and left the castle. The open space in front of Nurmengard. I don't know when there was an extra table made of wood. The platform is not high, and adults can step up it in one step. Looking at the blonde boy standing on the stage, members of the Saints immediately became riotous. Aurors in the crowd. The moment Lucas appeared, he approached cautiously. It seems to want to take him down on the spot. 005. Bewitching attack from Aurors. Vita Rohir, what have you summoned us for? The saints didn't seem to see Lucas. Ask Vita directly. Lucas has something to say to everyone. Lucas? Lucas stood on the wooden platform and bowed slightly and said, "Uncles, aunts, friends, thank you for answering the call today. Look around. The once powerful voodoo party. Now there are only a few hundred people left. Certainly, contrast that with the Death Eaters led by the noseless socket spirit next door. The condition of the saints is quite good." With Lucas speaking, the scene gradually became quiet. Lucas took 2 steps forward and continued. "In the past few decades, we have new friends and many old friends. We have been hiding, but we have not forgotten our identities. I know why you responded to the call today, and I know what you long for and what you are insisting on. Decades ago, my father, Gellert Grindelwald, revealed his prophecy to everyone, and it turns out that his prophecy was not wrong. Some elderly people at the scene had participated in the rally at the Père Lachaise cemetery. They still remember Grindelwald's prophecy well, looking at the young man in high spirits on the stage. Everyone seemed to have returned to 1927 to the Père Lachaise cemetery. And standing on the stage seemed to be Gellert Grindelwald himself. Lucas didn't know that the old guys in the audience would think so much. He looked around the crowd and said again, "Looking at the decay and unbearableness of the magic world today, as well as our ever-compressed living space, it seems to prove my father's idea again." Grindelwald, listening to the tsunami-like shouts from the audience, Lucas raised his hands in gesture. But everyone seemed to be immersed in Grindelwald's past glory. They chanted Grindelwald's name with no intention of stopping. Vita Rothier swung her wand and cast a loud voice charm on herself. Quiet. The noisy crowd became quiet again. It can be seen that the deterrent power of this French rose should not be underestimated. Lucas coughed lightly, looked at the crowd, and said again, 2 years ago, I asked Wada to deliver a message to everyone. I hope you can enter the world of Muggles. How about it? Has anyone gone? Lucas glanced over everyone one by one with expectant eyes. Most people's eyes are full of disdain for Muggles, and some lowered their heads after meeting his gaze. At this time, a voice came timidly from behind the crowd. I have been. The speaker was a young man in his 20s. Lucas smiled and asked, "What's your name?" "Pine Caro." "Oh, the Caro family, one of the Holy 28 families, has a long history. It's a pleasure to meet you, Pine. Then tell me how you feel about Muggles." Strange to say, being praised by an 11-year-old, the young Caro family member is actually quite happy. "Nice to meet you, Mr. Grindelwald. My impression of Muggles is that their technology is very powerful." Lucas nodded with a smile. "Yes, technology is indispensable to Muggles, just like our magic. The weapons of war that my father once predicted are a manifestation of technology." After he finished speaking, he looked at Vita Rohir at the side. The other party took a Sherlock Holmes-style pipe and walked up to the high platform. Taking the pipe, Lucas looked at the crowd. "Although my prophecy is not as powerful as my father's, I still have something for you to see." With a big mouthful of smoke spit out. Immediately, some pictures emerged from the smoke. Advanced fighter planes swooped over the land, and countless missiles devastated the land. On the sea, giant steel beasts passed by. As soon as the screen changed, satellites in outer space circled the Earth. These satellites are 390,000 feet above the ground. You can clearly see people and objects on the ground. The screen ends here. But the shock it brought to everyone did not stop there. Soon, there was a commotion among the crowd. Wizards believe in so-called prophecies very much. Otherwise, the socket spirit wouldn't kill a newborn baby. At this time, the eyes of the saints were full of fear, uneasiness, and helplessness. Unexpectedly, the Muggle world has become beyond their comprehension. Lucas gently woke everyone up. Everyone has seen that, maybe in the near future, those satellites flying in the sky will be able to find us who are hiding. But what about us? Are we going to shoot it down on a broomstick? How long will the so-called International Protection Act protect us? When the danger really comes, will we be able to withstand the torrent of Muggle steel? Lucas kept asking questions, but no one could answer his question. I don't hate Muggles. On the contrary, I admire their creativity and even hope to live in peace with them one day. But at present, It seems that in order to fulfill this wish, the entire magic world must first be united. Uncles, aunts, and brothers, whether you are pure blood or mixed blood, we all have a common identity: wizards. As wizards, we have to shoulder the mission of saving the magic world. Grindelwald, an elderly wizard, called softly, watching Lucas. Soon, others followed suit. Grindelwald. If we say that the shouts of the crowd were calling for Gellert Grindelwald, so the cry now is just for Lucas Grindelwald. Watching the excited and gradually crazy saints, Lucas flashed a confident smile. Just when he was about to continue his speech, suddenly, a loud shout came from the crowd, all petrified. Immediately afterwards, one after another spell sounded. Quick imprisonment. Let loose and let go. Torna part. Dozens of spells emanated from the Auror's wand. They have only one goal: Lucas Grindelwald on the platform. 006. The gas stove debuts, announcing to the world that the saints are coming back. Face spells coming from all directions. Wada and Abernathy, who had been on guard for a long time, immediately drew out their wands to defend. The other saints surrounded those Aurors. Just wait for Lucas to order. No! Lucas stopped Vita, Rothier, who came forward to help. I saw more than a dozen void cracks appearing around him. The spells of the Aurors flew into it and disappeared in an instant. Tear open a void. This is nothing short of fantasy for the saints. But now, this impossible thing is actually easily done by Lucas. There is a glimmer of hope in the eyes of the saints looking at him, and quickly transformed into faith. They believe Father and Son Gellert Grindelwald and Lucas Grindelwald will lead them to freedom. Manipulate so many void rifts at once. It's still a little bit reluctant for Lucas, who just got his blood. Fortunately, nothing went wrong. He looks at the crowd, seeing the dozen or so Aurors looking deathly at home. Lucas sighed. Decades ago, the measures taken by the wizarding world to those who dared to tell the truth were to arrest, imprison, or even execute them. My father was one of the people who was treated that way. I didn't expect that today, decades later, people who tell the truth are still not allowed to exist in a magic world, even if I am still an 11-year-old child. Lucas' expression turned a little sad. In the face of various crises in a magic world, what we think of is not how to unite to solve the problem, but to wave a magic wand to our compatriots. Alas, Lucas allowed a long sigh. All kinds of helplessness were revealed. Looking at the Auror who still hated him, he said softly, "Wizards, lay down your wands and join us. We are not enemies. Mr. Grindelwald, you are as good a speaker as your father, but what you say is of no use to us." An elderly Auror stood up and said, even in the face of the glaring gazes of hundreds of people around him, he still looked at Lucas on the stage without changing his face. "In this case, I can only let everyone rest for a while." Lucas waved his hand. The space behind those Aurors was torn apart. The spells issued by the Aurors just now flew out of it one after another and hit them precisely. Solved sudden minor troubles. Lucas clapped his hands, bringing everyone's attention to himself. He raised his hand, pointed to the surrounding ground, and said, "Fire shield." Spin in place with Lucas. Grindelwald's modified version of Fiend Fire appeared around. This is the famous black magic in the previous life, the gas stove. After Grindelwald's improvement, it not only retains the characteristics and power of Fiend, it also makes it a sharp tool to test the loyalty of his subordinates. The appearance of the fire shield made the older generation even more fanatical. Plus Lucas' wandless spellcasting. In addition to fanaticism and faith, the eyes of the saints are full of surrender. Even Vita, Rosier, and Abernathy, who were with Lucas day and night. At this moment, his eyes were full of surprise. "Lucas!" A murmur was heard behind him. Lucas chuckled and looked back at the other person. "Guys, step over the flames and tell the self-deluded ones that they were wrong in the past. Wake up those who pretend to be asleep. It will be our responsibility, brothers. Everything is for the greater good." With his cry, the surrounding saints shouted slogans that made them proud. For the greater good. Vita Rohir looked at the teenagers on the stage and whispered, "For the greater good." With that, she stepped over Fiendfire. Abernathy shouted excitedly, "For the greater good." Like Wada, He also stepped over Fiendfire after shouting the slogan, with 2 people taking the lead. Others marched across the flames chanting, before operating to announce the good news. Nurmengard Tower. Listen to the shouts outside. Gellert Grindelwald laughed out loud. For the greater good. Albus, I hope you enjoy this gift from me. At the same time, Lucas also looked at the tower. He actually knew what Grindelwald was planning. Isn't it just to embarrass Dumbledore, which he is good at? Not long. The Saints disappeared completely. Wada looked at the dozen or so Aurors on the ground and asked, Lucas, what about these people? Lucas glanced at the Aurors. With a wave of his hand, Fiendfire turned into Blue's Phoenix. Annihilate the Aurors in the blink of an eye. Vita, prepare the carriage. We are going to England. Abernathy, you take some skilled people to stay and protect Father. The 2 answered immediately, then turned and went to prepare. Congratulations to the host for completing the world event. Saint's reappearance. Reward, 1,000 achievement points. Lucas didn't draw the lottery right away. He is fully capable now, so I plan to accumulate achievement points. Besides, even if you draw the common prize pool, 1,000 achievement points are only enough for 10 draws. What is 10 draws enough for? Not fun at all. Not long after, Vita Rothier prepared the carriage. The carriages are of medieval style. In front are 4 Thestrals acting as foot power. The traceless stretching spell was cast in the carriage behind. The space inside is not much smaller than the villa, and all the necessary furniture is available. Just when Lucas and others flew into the sky in a carriage. Newspapers of the return of the Saints also spread throughout Europe. Fudge, Minister of Magic, England. When I learned that Lucas was coming, immediately find Amelia Burns, Director of the Department of Legal Enforcement and the Director of the Auror Office to discuss countermeasures. 007. The Ministry of Magic threat? Lucas became pauper. Lucas, look at yesterday's newspaper. There's another news about the return of the Saints. This time the impact is too great. Lucas put down the book of untraceable stretching charms, looking at the contents of a newspaper and chuckling. Unexpectedly, the laughter caused Vita's displeasure. You are still laughing. Now our people are spreading everywhere what you said that day. I am really worried that the Ministry of Magic of various countries will take the opportunity to make things difficult. And you, Vita, Aunt, did I say anything too much that day? I just discovered some problems in the magic world and advocated unity and friendship. In fact, the purpose of summoning the Saints is more to attract the attention of the Ministry of Magic of various countries. Otherwise, how could he reach the border of England smoothly? It's just that these words can't be said. Lucas walked over to the window. Looking outside, white clouds said softly, Don't worry, Wada Aunt. Our people will be safe, and I will not be in danger. After all, I'm only an 11-year-old kid. Most people may think that those words were just made by Gale. Compared to the socket spirit who is dead in everyone's mind, Gale's deterrence is undoubtedly higher. After all, everyone knows that he is still alive, and he is alive and well. The socket man? Wada asked with a puzzled face. I've always wanted to ask you, why did you call that Dark Lord the Socket Man? It's nothing, it just looks alike. This sentence made Vita even more puzzled. She had met the Dark Lord more than 10 years ago. The appearance is very handsome, and it seems that it has nothing to do with the socket. We've arrived at Hogsmeade Village. Get ready. Someone from the Ministry of Magic should come. Vita took his word for it. Turn around and go to a mirror to tidy up your appearance. Hogsmeade, a wizarding town. Amelia Bones, the current director of law enforcement at the Ministry of Magic. This kind of big man who is rarely seen on weekdays. Came here today. She looked like she was waiting for someone. Behind her was the deputy director, Pierce Thickness. In the future, the Minister of Magic after Voldemort's resurrection, a Death Eater. And then there's Dolor Riceumbridge, head of the Misuse of Magic Office. The name may be unfamiliar to some people, but when it comes to Pink Toad, I'm afraid no one knows it. Standing beside the Toad, it was the head of the Auror Office, Rufus Scrimgeour. This is a vigorous and resolute guy who is dedicated to dealing with dark wizards. And they gathered here today to welcome Lucas Grindelwald. I can tell. The Ministry of Magic attaches great importance to Lucas' arrival. None of the people who came to greet him was kind. accompanied by the thestral carriage, landed smoothly. Several people looked at the car door in unison. The first to step out of the carriage were several members of the Saints. Immediately afterwards, Vita Rohir stepped out of the car with graceful steps. This French rose with thorns always looks proud in front of outsiders. Lucas, it's time to come out. Accompanied by Vita calling softly, Lucas stepped out of the car. Is this England? The scenery is really nice. It is our honor to receive your praise. Lucas turned his head and saw a woman with short gray hair and a monocle walking towards him. Introduce yourself, Amelia Bones, head of the Department of Magical Law Enforcement. Lucas wasn't surprised. He shook hands with each other politely and greeted everyone gracefully. I've heard of the name of Director Burns a long time ago. I feel very honored to meet you today. I don't know how many of you are here, although I understand the intentions of several people in my heart. But Lucas still pretended to be confused and asked, Mr. Grindelwald, why don't you go to the Madame Poudive's tea house next door and chat slowly? The black tea, there's very good. Follow the direction of the other's fingers. Lucas saw the girly shop on the corner of the main road at a glance. What exactly did they talk about? Outsiders do not know, because the Ministry of Magic had already emptied the people in the tea house. But look at the smile on Amelia Bones' face as she leaves. The two should have had a good conversation. But before the people from the Ministry of Magic left, there were some small episodes. Pierce Thickness, the deputy director, approached Lucas on his own initiative. I'll keep an eye on you. Don't think no one knows what you've been doing in Austria, Dark Wizard. The other party whispered something in Lucas' ear and left, until all the people in the Ministry of Magic evacuated. Lucas laughed and said, it seems that the situation inside the British Ministry of Magic is very bad. Some people welcome us, while some people hate us. Wada nodded. At least the deputy director and director or don't welcome us. It doesn't matter. Go to Gringotts to withdraw money first, and then go buy things you need for school. Gringotts, Vault 720, facing a dazzling array of collections. Lucas' face was very ugly. Wada, we are in Gringotts, England. Do we only have this little money? 100,000. What is it enough for? Vita Rothier sighed. Before our influence was not in England, so there are only so many. Then transfer money from Gringotts in other countries. Need I remind you, dear? Because of what you did before, the Ministry of Magic is now looking for our people everywhere. They go to Gringotts as if they are courting death. Lucas sighed and had to give up his thoughts. Randomly took around 30,000 galleons. Lucas walked out of Gringotts looking unhappy. He had never been so poor. Absent-mindedly, he collided with a masked man. Sorry, please forgive my reckless behavior. Hearing the apology from the other party, Lucas shook his head. Just as I was about to speak, I smelled a strong smell of garlic. Watch the mysterious guy scurrying into Gringotts. Lucas immediately popped a ray of magic with his fingers. This magic power was mixed with his mental power, and soon formed a space coordinate on the opponent. Lucas experimented on the way here. Even a powerful wizard like Vita can hardly detect this coordinate. Looking at the back of the masked man, Lucas silently greeted the other party. Professor Quirrell, nice to meet you. 008. Lucas's magic wand learned the traceless stretching spell in order to make a fortune. Vita, I think it is necessary to mention to Light Wheel that this year's dividends can be paid earlier. Also, we must pay close attention to the cooperation we discussed with Director Amelia just now. Whether we can gain a firm foothold in the British magic world depends on the success of the cooperation. Remember, we are businessmen, and the previous hatred should be put aside properly. Wada felt amused when he heard the young man rambling on. Lucas became like this, probably because of the lack of galleons in Gringotts. As someone who watched Lucas grow up, Vita is aware of his shortcoming, which is the money fan. It may also be because of the love of money, which makes him very talented in business, especially investment vision. In the past few years, we have caught the economic crisis of the Nimbus Broomstick Company. Successful capital injection to become one of its shareholders. While talking, the two came to the door of Ollivander's wand shop, looking at the small and shabby shop and the same shabby signboard. It's hard to imagine this being the shop of one of Europe's 3 master cane makers. Wada Ant, go and buy me books and tongs first, and we'll meet up at the robe shop later. Okay, be careful yourself. After finishing speaking, Vita walked towards Leon bookstore, pushing open the store door, accompanied by the sound of crisp bells. Lucas steps into it. The store has a lot of space inside, but it's still messy and dirty. Thousands of cartons even piled up to the roof. Therefore, there are actually not many places where you can set foot in the store. Welcome, sir. Garrick Ollivander is pleased to serve you. The standard British accent came from behind a stack of boxes. Immediately afterwards, a white-haired old man walked out. He was a tunic with flared sleeves that was only popular in the Middle Ages, covered with dust. Sir, I'm pretty sure we're meeting for the first time. Let me guess you must be here to buy a wand. With a smile on his face, Lucas looked at the mysterious old man in front of him. Wait until the other person has finished speaking. He shook his head decisively in denial. Sorry, I didn't come to buy a wand, Master Ollivander. Ollivander's expression froze. It seems to be saying, little brother, why don't you play your cards according to the routine? Ahem, then this. Lucas Grindelwald. Hearing Lucas' self-introduction, Ollivander's expression froze again. It took him a long time before he said, So Mr. Grindelwald is here today. Don't wait for the other person to finish speaking. Lucas took out one of Gold's long hairs. I would like to ask Master Ollivander to make me a wand with this hair as the core. Feel the abundant and powerful magic in Gold's long hair. Ollivander's eyes were no longer cloudy. He took the hair carefully and asked, Is this the hair of a magical creature? I have never seen such a powerful force. Can you tell me where I got it from? Lucas shook his head and said, I also got it by chance, but I can tell you that it's elf hair. Elf, Ollivander exclaimed. Elves are creatures and legendary. One can only read about his existence in books. Mr. Grindelwald, I would like to make a wand for you. Oh, Merlin, I never thought that one day I would be able to make a wand out of elf hair. Seeing the other party staring at his hair obsessively, Lucas suddenly felt cold all over. Master Ollivander, when will I come for my wand? Oh, the making of the wand is a long process, but don't worry, I'll work day and night, and I will finish it in half a month. The two made a wonderful date of July 31st. Then Lucas left the shop. When he came to Madame Malkin's robe shop, Vita has been waiting for a long time. As the son of Grindelwald, naturally, the robes also have to be made to order the best. Do you have anything else to buy? Wada asked, looking at Lucas, who kept wandering in front of him. No, Lucas said without looking back. Congratulations to the host for completing the exploration achievement. Diagon Alley. Reward, 50 achievement points. Until the last inch of Diagon Alley is gone. The sound of the system sounded. Looking at the sky, it's getting late. Lucas had to give up on continuing to explore Nocturne Alley. Back to my home in England. Looking at the huge manor in front of him, Lucas cursed the evil capitalist in his heart. Then he lived in peace of mind. Snapped, accompanied by the whipping sound of the whip. A house elf appears to Lucas. Zanai welcomes the little master. If you have anything to do, please tell Shauna. Contrast that with the house elves you've seen before. Shania is obviously much cleaner. Lucas handed the luggage to the other party and said, Please put my luggage in the room. Thank you. Oh, the little master said please to Shauna, and he also said thank you to Shauna. So happy. Shauna expressed her joy and surprise. Then he snapped his fingers and disappeared with his luggage. The manor is located in Wiltshire, England. Coincidentally, the Malfoy family's estate is also here. Settle everything. Lucas seems to have returned to the days of reading and studying every day. It's just that this time he read more books about the traceless stretching spell. In a flash, it was July 31st. Lucas got ready early in the morning to head to Diagon Alley. Lucas, how is your unmarked stretch charm learning? Lucas didn't answer. Instead, he took out a suitcase the size of a matchbox from his pocket. Growing quickly, when the suitcase returned to its original size, he motioned for Vita to go and see for herself. Looking at the interior space of the suitcase that has been expanded to an unknown extent, Vita became a little silent. Back then, it took her a long time to learn. But Lucas, the total amount of time is only about 10 days, and judging by the stability of the space inside the box, is obviously not at the level of beginners. I've always wanted to ask you, why are you in such a hurry to learn the untraceable stretching curse? Of course it works. I'm going to make a fortune out of it. Lucas walked out of the manor after speaking. Today, Quirrell would infiltrate Gringotts under the threat of Voldemort. He was going to take the opportunity to follow and have a look. Maybe he could make a fortune. Come to Diagon Alley. Lucas and Vita came to Madame Malkin's robe shop first. Haven't entered yet. I heard an arrogant voice coming from inside. My dad is helping me buy books next door, and my mom is out looking for a wand in the street. I don't understand why first graders can't have their own broomsticks. Listen to the slow, drawling tone. Lucas immediately guessed who was inside. Draco Malfoy. Then the person who talks to him at this time and this place. Not surprisingly, he should be the famous undead boy, the savior of the magic world. Harry Potter. 009. New achievements, powerful wands. Jingle. Accompanied by the bell ringing lightly. The door of Mrs. Malkin's robe shop was opened again. The two little wizards inside didn't notice anyone coming in. The two of them still stood where they were, being constantly taken advantage of by that lecherous tape measure. Do you have a broomstick? No. Have you ever played Quidditch? No. Della's expression became a little more complacent. I played, Dad said. It would be a shame if I didn't get selected for our house team. Do you know which house you'll be assigned to? Have no idea, said a thin boy in baggy, ill-fitting clothes. You can probably guess it from the boy's expression. He didn't want to talk to Della, and even wanted to escape from here as soon as possible. Just then, Hagrid with Titan blood appeared. In Della's line, he's a servant, completely annoyed our boy who lived. Draco didn't think he had said the wrong thing. Instead, I was curious as to why my new friends left suddenly. He doesn't know the other person's name yet. Harry stormed towards the door. When passing by Lucas, politely nod and say hello to him. The two passed each other, and Lucas came to the counter. Hello, ma'am. I've come to pick up a custom-made robe. Della looked along the voice. We saw Lucas behave gracefully. I immediately made a judgment in my heart. Hi, sir. My name is Draco Malfoy. Nice to meet you. Della Branch when introducing himself. He emphasized his surname emphatically. In the wizarding world, Malfoy is the top pureblood family. It is one of the sacred 28 families. So every time he introduced himself, his tone was full of pride. Lucas looked sideways at him. I saw that Mr. Malfoy was waiting for his answer with a proud face. Hi, Mr. Malfoy. My name is Lucas Grindelwald. Nice to meet you. See Lucas' standard etiquette. Della Branch confirmed what was in his mind. The other party was indeed a nobleman, but the surname Grindelwald was very uncommon. Draco felt that he must have heard it, but he couldn't remember it for a while. Do you have a broomstick? Have you ever played Quidditch? Do you know which college you will be assigned to? The classic triple question appears again. Lucas immediately understood what the other party wanted to express. Of course, I think Mr. Malfoy must have a very good broomstick like me. As for Quidditch, I still know a little bit. We can play together when we have time. As for the college, I think Slantarin is good. Hear Lucas answer. Della's eyes lit up, as if he had found a bosom friend. Delacour, I allow you to call me by my first name. What a coincidence. I'll also allow you to call me by my name. After saying that, the two looked at each other and smiled. Congratulations to the host for making the first friend of the same age. Complete the achievement. Precious friendship. Get rewards. 50 achievement points. 5 gold galleons. Lucas raised an eyebrow. He didn't expect to be rewarded with money for achievements. Now, he has another motivation to collect achievements. Although the money is small, enter also meet. Delacour, are the clothes measured yet? At this time, a middle-aged man's voice came from outside the door. Same drawn accent, same platinum hair. No need to ask, this must be Malfoy's current patriarch, Lucius Malfoy. Dad, let me introduce you to my new friend, Lucas. Seeing his son happy, Lucius looked curiously at the blond boy in front of the counter. Thank you for your willingness to befriend Draco, Lucius Malfoy. It's a pleasure to meet you, sir, as a pure-blood noble in the magic world. Lucius did not show arrogance. On the contrary, without knowing the details of Lucas, he was courteous and showed the elegance of his bloodline to the fullest. Lucas gently shook hands with the other party. It's an honor to meet you, Mr. Malfoy. Looking at the elegant and extravagant young man in front of him, Lucius probably had some calculations in his mind, just when he was about to ask which family the boy in front of him came from. Vita Rothier pushed open the door and entered. Lucas, I chose an owl for you as a gift. Do you like it? Lucas immediately noticed the difference in the caged snowy owl. Its eyes are very beautiful, as if it contains a sky full of stars. If you like it, give a name. After thinking for a moment, Lucas said, since she is a beautiful lady, let's call her Astia. Stars? A very good name. The two discussed the name of the snowy owl as if no one else was around. Delica looked at the snowy owl in the cage with envy in his eyes. As for Lucius Malfoy, he's been stiff since Wada came in. Ms. Vidar Rogier. Lucius' tone was very careful, as if he was afraid of disturbing the charming lady. Vita was taken aback, turning to look at Lucius with a puzzled expression. It wasn't until he saw the coat of arms he was wearing that he suddenly said, Boy of the Malfoy family. What's the matter? No, I just didn't expect to meet you here. This gentleman is you. Before Lucius finished speaking, Lucas came to the other side. Let me introduce you again. Nice to meet you, Mr. Malfoy. My name is Lucas Grindelwald. When he finished this sentence, it was clear that Lucius Malfoy's pupils shrank rapidly. It's Mr. Grindelwald. Nice to meet you. Malfoy was more polite than before, until Lucas walks out of the robe shop with Vita. Both Malfoy and his son hadn't left yet. On the way to the wand shop, Lucas looked at Vita beside him and asked, Vita Rogier? That's the name from before. It doesn't matter if you don't mention it. But you, how do you know someone for the Malfoy family? Lucas briefly explained the process of getting acquainted with Delaco. Wada nodded and said, Malfoy, a loyal supporter of blood purism, but I heard he is a Death Eater. Remember to be careful. Jingle. Oh, I've been waiting for you, Mr. Grindelwald. Come and see your wand. I'm sure you'll be amazed. Ollivander took out a cardboard box with an excited expression. Take the black wand out of it. I found that elf hair is more close to the dark, so I chose elderberry for the body of the wand, which represents life and death. Sure enough, the combination of the two shows unparalleled power. Although it may not be comparable to the Elder Wand in Legendary, it is also enough to stand out from other wands. After Ollivander finished speaking, he handed the wand to Lucas with both hands. Lucas held the handle of the stick and suddenly felt an indescribable feeling. There was also a strong light at the tip of the wand. Wait until everyone opens their eyes. Find yourself in a void. Oh, this is really amazing. Ollivander looked around in surprise, but soon the surrounding void shattered and the shop reappeared in front of him. Thank you, Master Ollivander. I like this one very much. You're welcome. Elderberry has always been obeyed by people with strong magic power. Being able to use it proves that you are excellent. A total of 900 gold galleons. Thank you for your patronage. Lucas didn't ask why his wand was so expensive. 900 galleons for a powerful weapon. He thought it was a good deal. Congratulations to the host for obtaining a new achievement. The first magic wand in life. Reward. 100 achievement points. Hear the sound of reward coming from a system. Lucas smiled and was about to leave. Just at this time, he suddenly noticed that the space coordinates left on Quirrell's body had been sensed. Feel it carefully. Discovered that Quirrell had entered Gringotts. Vita, you go home with your things first, and I'll do something. Do not wait for the other party to answer. Lucas ran out of the store with his wand in hand. 010. The mantis catches the cicada, the oriole follows. Idiot, move faster. Do you want to be discovered by those goblins? Master, please don't be angry. I will let this damn goblin lead the way immediately. Quirrell said to Voldemort obediently. At this moment, his head was wrapped in a turban similar to that of Asan. Idiot, don't think that someone can save you. Just listen to me obediently. Maybe I can give you eternal life after I get the Philosopher's Stone. Oh, thank you, my great master. I will serve you wholeheartedly and never betray you. Quirrell raised his wand after saying that. Crucio. The miserable cry echoed throughout the underground space. Looking at the goblin controlled by his Imperius Curse, Quirrell said viciously, Hurry up, take us to Vault 713. Voldemort and Quirrell probably couldn't think of it. Just before they sneaked into Gringotts, Hagrid has taken the Philosopher's Stone. Wait until Quirrell follows the Gringotts goblin to the location. What appeared in the eyes of the two was an empty vault. Voldemort shouted angrily, "BD, idiot! If it weren't for your cowardice and delaying time, I would have already obtained the Philosopher's Stone." "Master, spare your life. Master, calm down." "Idiot, give me your body." Soon, Quirrell's neck turned 180 degrees. Asan's turban wrapped around her head fell aside at some point. "Fairy, answer me. When were the items in this vault taken away?" "Not long ago. A few hours ago." "Shit, BD Dumbledore Avatar." Voldemort got even angrier after hearing this. He raised his wand, intending to vent his anger with the life of the elf in front of him. But he didn't wait for his incantation to finish. A strange voice suddenly came from the corner. "Disarm you, have to say." Voldemort was very experienced in combat. He dodged a disarming spell from Lucas and immediately aimed his wand at the shadowy corner. Boo! As soon as he finished speaking, Voldemort saw a figure wrapped in a black robe coming out of the corner. "I really didn't expect that the famous Dark Lord would end up in this field. TSK, TSK, TSK. Lucas' last few TSKs were full of provocation and ridicule. Tom 8th Riddle couldn't stand that. Immediately, it exploded, releasing several kinds of black magic in succession. The 3 unforgivable curses are used in turn. Unfortunately, he is just a remnant now, and Quirrell was half dead. 2 people plus 1. The magic power is not much stronger than Lucas. Not to mention Lucas got a new wand. The manipulation of magic power has become smoother. He flicked the spell aside and said, "That's it? That's it. Oh, Merlin, such a guy is actually called the Dark Lord. What a disgrace to the title of the Dark Lord. Hold hard, Tom. Keep pushing hard. Are you not full after going out? Wield that damn little stick in your hand hard." Lucas would never admit that he was avenging his cheap daddy. Although he thought he was there, Voldemort never had a chance to kill Grindelwald, but he still felt angry thinking about it. No-nose socket fine, bullying 110-year-old elderly, shameless. Damn to the end. All petrified, cruciate, bones to pieces. In the process of fighting Voldemort, Lucas also learned a lot of skills. If it is said that he just relied on his magic wand to bully each other at first, not long after, he could take advantage of some skills. BD, go to hell. Avada, eat a big melon. A green light shot towards Lucas. Dodge the deadly spell. Lucas no longer kept it, and immediately used the fire shield to protect himself. Fiend Fire, one of the dark arts, is known as the Devil's Flame. It is also one of the few black arts that can destroy Voldemort's Horcrux. Horcruxes can be destroyed, let alone Voldemort's remnant soul attached to others. Blue's Fiend just appeared. Voldemort manipulated Quirrell's body to flee far away. BD, don't let me meet you again. It seems that he is not reconciled and just speaks harshly. Voldemort also triggered the alarm in the underground vault before leaving. Because of Quirrell's escape, the Imperius Curse on the goblin gradually failed. Looking at the strange man in front of him, the goblin opened its mouth wide, ready to call its companions to come. The soul is out of the body. There was a flash of light at the tip of Lucas' wand. The demon spirit in front of him became dull again. Take me to Bellatrix's private vault at once. That's right. It wasn't the Lestrange family vault that Lucas was going to. It's the private vault that belongs exclusively to Bellatrix Lestrange. That year, Voldemort took the locket and the gold cup from Helga Hufflepuff's descendants. After making the 2 relics into Horcruxes, he handed over the golden cup to his most trusted subordinate, Bellatrix. So, the cup must not be in the Lestrange vaults. Really, the goblin really took him to the depths as requested. With the opening of the thick door of the vault, a dazzling array of collections appeared in front of Lucas. But he didn't even look at it. His gaze was fixed on the palm-sized cup on the high platform in the depths. That's what he's here for. Hufflepuff's Gold Cup. 011. Hufflepuff's Gold Cup, the key to unlock high-level rewards. Since the Gold Cup has been made into a Horcrux by Voldemort, so the flying curse doesn't work on it. Lucas entered the vault cautiously. When he came to Jean Bay, he already had a pair of baseball gloves in his hands. He wasn't sure if there was a curse or a jinx left by Voldemort on the cup, so it's better to be careful. Congratulations to the host for discovering Hufflepuff's Gold Cup and getting a reward, 100 achievement points. Congratulations to the host for opening a series of achievements. Collect the relics of the Big Four, complete this achievement, and get a diamond draw once. Diamond lottery? Lucas looked at the system, waiting for an explanation. Diamond lottery. You can draw powerful items or abilities in the heavens and worlds. Only by completing a series of achievements of great significance can you get a chance to win the lottery. Sure enough, there is nothing wrong with it. The relics of the Big Four are all good things. After putting away the gold cup, Lucas turned and walked out. When passing by the hill like Jean Galon, he took out the suitcase he had prepared. Fairy magic was cast on Jean Galon, so the wizard can't cast the copy spell on it. As for the other collections in the vault that have been cast with the duplication spell, Lucas could only reluctantly give up. After all, it would take too much time to break the curse. Have to say, these Death Eaters do have money. There are as many as 500,000 galleons in his personal treasury alone. When the goblins from Gringotts and the Ministry of Magic Aurors arrive, Lucas had already left through the Void Rift. Gringotts' anti-apparition spell wouldn't work on him. Nocturne Alley, in an empty corner, a crack was suddenly torn open in the space. A disguised Lucas emerges from it. Here it is. Looking at the dark alley in front of him, Lucas was very puzzled. I was in a hurry just now, so I found a random direction and opened the void fissure. Even he doesn't know where he is now. Get out of the alley. Outside are narrow, dark roads. There are shops on both sides of the road. In front of the shop was a group of hideous wizards in black robes. Nocturne Alley. This situation immediately made Lucas understand where this place was. What a coincidence. I just took this opportunity to complete the exploration of Nocturne Alley. Lucas walked along the street, carefully observing the surrounding buildings. In the original book, there are very few descriptions of the shops here. Aside from Birkenberg Antiques, the rest are largely unmentioned. As Lucas gradually deepened, found except for some black magic shops, there are also some black market-like shops in Nocturne Alley, which mainly trade dangerous creatures and herbs. Of course, there are also some normal item transactions. It's just that there are problems with the origin of these things, and the price is naturally cheaper than the market. Lucas is getting more and more interested in this place. Usually, rare items can be found in such a mixed place. Boy, judging by your clothes, you should be from a big family. You just need to know. All petrified, bones to pieces, watching the man in the way being pulverized by the spell. Lucas continued walking forward with a blank expression, although it has long been expected that such a bloody thing will happen. But he's not interested in talking nonsense with those liver rats. 2 hours later, congratulations to the host for completing the exploration achievement. Nocturne Alley, reward, 50 achievement points. Satisfied Lucas. After the system's prompt sounded, he immediately tore open the space and returned to the manor. Speaking of which, the 2 trips to Diagon Alley earned him 350 achievement points, which is not bad. This also made him look forward to life at Hogwarts even more. I don't know how many achievement points he can get there, and how strong he can become. Fast forward to late August. The first grade textbooks are not difficult for Lucas, except potions. He seemed to have a natural allergy to potions. No matter how much I learn, I still can't refine a satisfactory potion. Malfoy Manor. Lucas tasted pure English black tea. Looking at Draco Malfoy flying all over the sky on a broomstick, he felt that the other party was stupid. Lucas, don't sit still. Let's play together. Sorry, I feel sick to my stomach today, so I won't play. 11 years old, just the age to love to play. Even if the Della family comes from a pure-blooded family. Having received an aristocratic education, this will not change at all. Put the teacup down. Lucas looked aside and said, I'm bothering you these days, Mr. Malfoy. Mr. Grindelwald, you are welcome. It is an honor for my Malfoy family that you are willing to play around with Xiaolong. Since Lucius Malfoy learned the surname of the boy in front of him, he was very careful when he spoke. As a powerful, pure-blood family, Malfoy knew more than the average wizard. The boy in front of him was not as kind as he looked. The dozen or so Aurors who went missing in Austria have not been found yet. Looking at Malfoy's cautious look, Lucas chuckled a little. To this day, he still remembers the stunned expression on the other side's face when he came to visit him. Lucius, uncle, if you don't mind, you can call me Lucas. I am friends with Delaco. Facing the olive branch, he throws. Naturally, Lucius would not refuse. Next, one big and one small sat in the garden and communicated in a low voice. And in the distance, a platinum blonde-haired child with a big back is happily riding a broom. Shit, what a disappointment. Soon, September 1st will come. Lucas packed all his luggage into one suitcase. Then shrink quickly and put the suitcase in your pocket. Then he took Astia's birdcage. Depart for King's Cross Station. 012. King's Cross Station. Lost Hermione Granger. King's Cross Station was built in 1852. Every September 1st, there will always be some strange people at the station. Karen Cassian has worked at the station for 20 years. It's the same question every year at this time. Sorry, lady. There's no platform 9 3/4 here. Although the little girl in front of her looked like she was about to cry. But Karen only thought that the other party was making fun of herself. Hermione Granger looked around. I haven't met anyone who looks the same as me. Why did I read that Hogwarts, a school history, last night? If I went to bed early, I wouldn't be late today. It was only 5 minutes before 11 o'clock. Hermione was instantly distraught. Hello, this beautiful lady. Is there any difficulty? The gentle, questioning voice behind her made Hermione turn around hastily. A pair of smiling blue eyes met her. She swears to God. Those deep blue eyes lit up when they saw him. This made Hermione Granger's heart suddenly moved and somewhat joyful. Miss. Hermione snapped back to herself. He looked at the handsome boy in front of him in embarrassment. But she soon noticed the snowy owl in the opponent's hand. You too. I am. Lucas asked curiously. Fortunately, the Hermione in front of her grew up according to the movie version. Thanks, Merlin. Seeing that Hermione was so anxious that she couldn't speak, Lucas smiled and said, That's right, I'm going to Hogwarts too. Come with me. After saying that, he stepped forward to help push the cart. He led the other party into platform 9 3/4. Looking at the Hogwarts special slow train, in front of you, Lucas drew his wand and pointed it at Hermione's luggage. Wingardium Leviosa. Hermione saw her luggage suspended in midair. There was a look of surprise on his face. Don't be in a daze. We're about to drive. Lucas took the other's hand and ran to the train. The two found a seat in an empty compartment at the end of the train. Seeing the luggage neatly falling on the luggage rack, Hermione said in surprise, You are really amazing. I read almost all the magic books in the first grade during the holidays, but the levitation spell can't last for a long time. But Lucas thought to himself, Hermione is worthy of being a top student. He has never been exposed to magic, and he can use it proficiently in just one vacation. This talent is really surprising. It's actually very simple. If you want, I can teach you the trick. Ms. Hermione, the know-it-all, Granger, who loves to learn, certainly won't refuse. So the two sat side by side and discussed how to use the spell. I don't know how long it has been. The carriage door was suddenly opened. Lucas, why are you here? Who is this? Looking at the two people sitting side by side, Della thumped in his heart and suddenly felt that he came at the wrong time. Hermione moved quickly to the side. He blamed himself while sneaking a peek in Lucas' direction. Delaco, what's the matter? Probably not. Huh, don't you need to catch up with your friends? Delaco was tempted to say that he was doing just that. But seeing Lucas' cold eyes, he tactfully exited the carriage. I suddenly remembered that I met a new friend before. I don't know his name yet, so I will look for it. After Del Lake finished speaking, he took his two followers and fled immediately. It became very quiet in the car. Lucas glanced at Hermione, who was still shy, did not choose to disturb. He picked up the book on the side and read it on his own. Hey, was that person your friend just now? That's right, Delago Malfoy, a spoiled kid by his parents. Hearing his description, Hermione let out a chuckle. At this time, a naive boy came to the door of their carriage. Hello, did you see a toad? Toad? That's right, its name is Leif, and it's my pet. Hermione glanced at him with some envy. She wants a pet, too, but her parents aren't planning to buy her one just yet. I haven't seen it. Let's help you find it. Hermione turned to look at Lucas after she finished speaking. as if asking for his opinion. Lucas was fine with that, of course. He was still thinking just now, what excuse should he find to leave? As a train to Hogwarts, I don't know how many achievement points will be awarded after completing the exploration. The three walked from the rear of the car to the front of the car. Finally found the toad running around under the front seat of the car. Congratulations to the host for completing the exploration achievement. Hogwarts Express reward 100 achievement points. It is worthy of being a train with Hogwarts. The achievement points actually caught up with the sum of exploring Diagon Alley and Nocturne Alley, just as Lucas was about to take Hermione back to the carriage. Suddenly, they heard arguing in front of them. Humans seem to be very keen on watching. It has nothing to do with country and age. Watching the train channel gradually become congested. Lucas took Hermione's hand and walked towards the crowd. As soon as he got closer, he saw a large-backed head of platinum. This brat is causing trouble again. 013. Della, who complained to his father, met the boy who lived. Della did not expect the black-haired and green-eyed boy in front of him. It turned out to be the famous Harry Potter. He heard the name from his father more than once. In the pure blood family, there's always been a rumor. It is said that Harry Potter was born to be a powerful dark wizard, so he was banished from the wizarding world after defeating the Dark Lord. Most purists fantasize about it. Harry Potter might also be a blood advocate, and his father, Lucius Malfoy, was also one of them. If we can become friends with Harry Potter, Dad should be very happy. Della Branch has such thoughts, extended a small hand of friendship to Harry Potter. Only, Harry's impression of him was extremely bad. I didn't expect you to be Harry Potter. This is crap. His name is Goyle. My name is Draco Malfoy. Harry looked at the boy who appeared in front of him. Immediately recalled the scene in the robe shop before. Before he could speak, Ron Weasley on the side laughed. This immediately aroused Della's displeasure. It is impolite to make fun of other people's surnames. Think my name is funny? I can tell who you are with just one look. Red hair and an old robe. You must be from the Weasleys. After Draco finished speaking, he turned to look at Harry. You'll find that some wizarding families are indeed superior, Potter. Don't make friends with dubious people. I can help you. Harry looked at the little hand reaching out to him. He said with displeasure, "Thank you. I can tell the difference between good and bad." He refused without hesitation, which made Ron very happy. Della was taken aback. From childhood to adulthood, countless people wanted to be friends with him. But Harry was the first to reject himself. Anger arises from the bottom of my heart. Draco stared at the boy in front of him and said, "You'll regret it, Potter." "Hey, don't bully my friends." Ron stood in front of Harry, reaching out to give Della a push. The farce happened. Lucas learned the whole process from the other mouth. Separate the crowd and walk to Della's side. Della, go back to your compartment first. Lucas, this can't be left alone. I'm going to tell my dad to fire this red-haired Weasley. Lucas rolled his eyes mentally. If you have an accident, go to your father. Della, are you a milk doll who can't grow up? Listen to me and go back first. Lucas gave him a cold look. The impulsive Della calmed down instantly. Let's go. Watching Della Branch leave, Lucas looked at the others again. Misters and ladies, please return to your respective compartments. Congestion in the aisle will only cause trouble for others. Thank you. His polite and elegant demeanor won him the favor of everyone. Wait until the crowd clears. Only then did Harry exclaim, "It's you we met that day at Madame Malkin's robe shop." "Meet you again, Harry Potter. Let me introduce myself. My name is Lucas Grindelwald." Harry Potter's compartment. Look at the snacks scattered everywhere. Lucas and Hermione didn't know where to sit. Finally managed to find a place to sit down. "Thank you just now, Lucas." "No, I should say sorry. Draco is like a child who can't grow up. Please don't pay attention to his words." Seeing my good friend Harry chatting so happily with the blonde man, Ron snorted softly. Malfoy's father was a Death Eater, and he certainly will be. His voice is small, but the space in the carriage is not large, so the other three people can naturally hear clearly. Seeing three people looking at him, Ron stood up flushed. "I just ate too many snacks, go, and make it easy." After that, he opened the car door and walked out. Confirmed that the other party has gone away. Lucas suddenly stretched out his right hand and said, "Harry, nice to meet you." "Me too." Holding hands together, the boat of friendship set off smoothly. Next, it's time for Lucas to block Dumbledore. Speaking of which, Harry Potter's childhood was really pitiful. He was used as a slave by his aunt's family. No laughter, just scolding and endless chores. Originally, Harry was used to all this. Suddenly one day, a strange man came. The weirdo told Harry that he was a wizard and that his parents were also wizards. He also told Harry that he was the hero who saved the wizarding world, adding the compliments of others, as if seeing Merlin. Let this 11-year-old boy lose himself a bit. Have to say, Dumbledore was very clever. As expected of my old man's first. Cough, as expected of the old man's mortal enemy. Lucas withdrew his thoughts. Looking at the Silent Two, he said, "It shouldn't be far from Hogwarts. Do you have a college you want to enter?" Hear the question. Harry Potter said without hesitation, "Gryffindor. I've heard that Gryffindor is the best house." Hermione on the side also nodded. The same is true in Hogwarts, a school history. As a top student, she believed in the contents of the book. Lucas chuckled twice. Amidst the confusion of the two, something surprising was said. 014. Seemingly fair speeches are actually full of evil intentions. Seeing Lucas shaking his head again and again, Harry and Hermione looked puzzled. Lucas took out his wand and tidied up the messy snacks on the table. Prepare for your next speech. Gryffindor isn't the best house in my opinion. How is that possible? Hermione exclaimed. Then she retorted, but a school history says that Gryffindor College has produced many outstanding wizards, such as Headmaster Dumbledore and Professor Minerva McGonagall. I've heard that Headmaster Dumbledore is the most powerful white wizard. Harry hurriedly added from the sidelines. Lucas didn't care about Hermione's speech. As a top student, I firmly believe that there is nothing wrong with the knowledge in books. As for Harry, all he knew about Dumbledore was from Hagrid. And Hagrid is a big fan of Dumbledore. Of course, he said all the good things about the other party. Looking at the anxious appearance of the two, Lucas waved his hands and smiled. Don't worry, I didn't say that Headmaster Dumbledore isn't the greatest wizard. Appease the emotions of the two of them. He continued, have you heard about the 4 colleges? Hearing this question, Harry shook his head. For the 4 houses, he just heard some from his good friend Ron. Know that Gryffindor is the best house. Slytherin House is full of bad guys. Ravenclaw is a bunch of nerds. The people of Hufflepuff are not very bright. Harry looked at Lucas, waiting for his next words. At this moment, Hermione said, I learned about it from books. Then she briefly described the characteristics of the 4 colleges. When Harry heard that Gryffindor was characterized by bravery and fearlessness, the joy and longing in the eyes flashed away. None of this escaped Lucas' eyes. Wait until Hermione has finished speaking. Lucas was the first to applaud. Miss Granger will be popular with the professors in the future. Hearing his compliment, Hermione's little face showed a smug look. As Miss Granger said, each house has its own characteristics, so I think the 4 houses are equal. There is no good or bad. By the way, do you guys play video games? Hermione nodded, while Harry looked a little embarrassed. Lucas quickly skipped the subject. Sakura Country has a game called Final Fantasy III. In the game, we need to control a 4-person team to destroy monsters. Among them is Runes, who is brave, inquisitive, and always open-mouthed. There's also Ark, who likes to read, is knowledgeable, and can always help everyone solve their difficulties. Rafia has a confident and flamboyant personality, and she is even more shrewd. She can always help the team solve crises and lead the team out of danger. Finally, Loyal Ingalls, everyone in the Eternal Guardian team. Harry didn't understand why Lucas was saying this. On the other hand, Hermione suddenly said, Are you trying to say that the 4 academies are like these 4 people, and we can only get through this difficult time by uniting together? Lucas nodded appreciatively. The 4 founders of Hogwarts must be the same as the team in the game. The bravery of a Gryffindor, the knowledge of Ravenclaw, the shrewdness of a Slytherin, and the loyalty of a Hufflepuff. The 4 of them supported each other, overcame countless difficulties, and finally created Hogwarts. But I've heard that Slytherin students are bad wizards. Harry looked careful when he said that, as if worried he'd said the wrong thing. Lucas said with a gentle smile. Harry, there are some things we have to see and feel for ourselves, not listen to others. With that said, he swung his wand and suspended a chocolate frog in midair. Levitation spell, we can learn it in the first grade. It can float objects in midair. It is a very practical spell. Seeing Lucas easily cast the spell, envy filled Harry's eyes. Just then, he suddenly saw Lucas swiping his wand downward. At the same time, a spell came from my ear. Fall to the ground. Snapped. The chocolate frog fell hard on the ground and was instantly shattered. Do you understand? Seeing Harry was still confused. Lucas sighed and said, if my magic power is stronger, what if I replace the chocolate frog with a human? What will happen? Harry imagined it in his mind, and suddenly his whole body felt cold. Harry, there are no good or bad spells, and the same is true for colleges. The Durmstrang School of Witchcraft and Witchcraft in Germany even has black magic courses. Just like a table knife, it can not only help us cut delicious food into a size suitable for the mouth, but can also become a murderous weapon. Harry, do you think it's true that Dumbledore, the greatest white wizard of this century, is not proficient in the dark arts? If not, how can he contain you-know-who? Lucas knows what to say. Harry might not understand it all, but that's okay. Just remember it. Wait until the night is quiet, and the other party can remember what he said. Didn't Dumbledore intend to create a savior? Lucas just wanted to make trouble for him. I really look forward to it. If Dumbledore finds that the savior he has worked so hard to cultivate has changed, what will he look like? Just as Lucas was snickering in his heart, Harry Potter, who was sitting across from him, suddenly asked, then, what college should I go to? See the confused look on Mr. Harry Savior Potter's face. Lucas smiled slightly. Since Harry believed him so much, then he will start talking nonsense. 015. Thanks to Ron Weasley for the assist. What? After hearing this, I suddenly don't know what to choose. Facing Lucas' inquiry, Harry nodded sheepishly. Don't be confused. The Sorting Hat will make decisions for you. The Sorting Hat, Merlin's beard. Just pretend you haven't heard anything. The details of the sorting ceremony are not allowed to be leaked. Lucas said playfully to the two of them. Seeing him like this made Harry and Hermione even more curious about the sorting ceremony. Diverted the topic of branching. Lucas continued to answer Harry's questions. Although I have known you not long ago, I think you are more suitable to go to Gryffindor or Slytherin. In these two colleges, you will gain a lot. Here, Slytherin. Harry frowned slightly, and there was still a little disgust in his eyes. Lucas didn't expect the other party to change his view of the Snake Court all at once. After all, it is quite troublesome to solve preconceived ideas, especially to reverse the idea of an 11-year-old rebellious child. Mr. Grindelwald, what house do you think I'll be sorted into? Oh, beautiful lady, I thought we were already friends, but you were so unfamiliar with me. Okay, Mr. Lucas, please answer my question. Lucas smiled slightly, in exchange for Hermione's eyes. Still, she got a reply from Lucas Admissions Counselor Grindelwald. Ms. Hermione, who is smart and eager to learn, and Lawan Kelluo, who is wise and knowledgeable, I believe they will be very suitable for you. Of course. Hermione's smug look. It means that she is very satisfied with Lucas' answer. The relaxed and happy atmosphere among the three gradually spread to the outside of the carriage. The laughter and laughter attracted the attention of many people. Harry looked at the blond boy across from him. Through the communication just now, he could see that Lucas' status was unusual. Perhaps the nobles of the wizarding world are not all what Ron said. Looking at the knowledgeable, elegant, and polite Lucas. So thought Harry Prince Potter. Out of the corner of his eye, he caught Harry's expression. The smile on Lucas' face widened again, just when the three of them were chatting happily. Ron Weasley, who had been away for a long time, returned to the carriage. Hey guys, where have you been talking? Seeing his friend come back, Harry immediately said, we're talking about 4 colleges. Lucas, Hermione, this is Ron Weasley, my friend. Facing Harry's introduction, the two Lucas smiled and nodded to Ron. Ron, on the other hand, was a little smug, as if he was proud of Harry's words. After all, he was a friend personally admitted by the famous Harry Potter. Someone else might behave in the same way as Ron. Nice to meet you. What house do you want to go to? Gryffindor is my favorite. Several of my big brothers are there, and I think I'll probably be sorted into Gryffindor too. Oh, Gryffindor, the best house. How about you? Have you decided which house to go to? When Ron mentions that the family is all from Gryffindor, a proud expression appeared on his face. Hermione was just about to say something, but it was preempted by Lucas on the side. I think I'll probably go to Slytherin. As soon as the words came out, Ron's expression immediately filled with disgust. He even looked at Lucas and said under his breath, "Oh, evil slantling. Mr. Weasley, don't you know it's rude to say that about someone else?" Hermione stood up and looked down at Ron Weasley in his seat. I think what Lucas said is very reasonable. The four houses have their own strengths. If you don't understand, why do you insist that everyone in Slytherin is a bad student? Slantlings are bad wizards. They're Death Eaters. Ron quibbled, dissatisfied. Hermione sneered. Impulsive, reckless. Mr. Weasley is a good fit for Gryffindor, but you don't take these shortcomings as a sign of bravery, do you? Just like just now, you laughed at other people's surnames. This is an extremely impolite behavior, but you don't seem to think you are at fault. In terms of quarrels, how could the clumsy Ron be Miss Know-It-All's opponent? Ron looked aside at Harry, asked his friend for help. But after the conversation just now, Harry didn't think Hermione was saying too much. Instead, hear what Ron has to say. The savior classmate frowned subconsciously. Seeing that Harry didn't help, Ron lost all confidence. He shrunk his body on the seat, lowered his head, and stopped talking. Seeing that the heat was almost ready, Lucas came to Hermione's side. Well, I believe Mr. Weasley didn't mean to. But Mr. Weasley, I still suggest that you get to know more about people from the other three colleges. Maybe you'll find something different. The bus is about to arrive at the station. Let's go back first. As a friendly reminder, change into the wizard's robe in advance. Otherwise, there will be trouble. Looking at Lucas, who was about to step out of the car, Harry stood up hastily. Thank you today, Lucas. Congratulations to the host for obtaining a new achievement. Friendship of Gold and Iron Urgio. Rewards: 200 achievement points, 20 gold galleons. Lucas smiled and walked to his car. Hermione, you go back to the carriage first. I'll go to Della's place to have a look. That child was spoiled by his parents. He might still be angry now. Hermione nodded with a smile and walked into the carriage. Wait until Lucas comes to the compartment where Draco Malfoy is. Before entering the door, I heard shouts of Potter, Potter from inside. Crash! The box door was opened. Lucas gave Goyle and Crabbe a cold look. You go out first. The two glanced at Delabranche. Seeing the other party nodding, he hurried out of the carriage. Della looked at Lucas with a cold face. The anger is much less. Lucas, do you know where you went wrong? Facing Lucas' inquiry, Draco Malfoy was suddenly confused. 016. Bringing together Master Malfoy and Potboy? I was wrong. Draco Malfoy asked suspiciously. He carefully recalled the whole process of meeting Pote. I don't understand where I went wrong. Seeing the other party's appearance, Lucas sighed inwardly. Hart Road, Lucius Malfoy's education, is fed to the dogs. Delacour, you are already 11 years old. You can't find your father when you encounter problems. Della's face turned red after hearing this, and he hesitated for a long time and couldn't say a word. You should know that I am preparing to cooperate with your father recently. We plan to open a number of shops in the British wizarding world. There will be no accidents in the future. The cooperation between our two families will continue for a long time. As the heir of the Malfoy family, your performance disappoints me. Della looked at Lucas in panic. Lucas, you listen to me explain. Lucas waved his hand and said, Delacour, you have received an excellent education since childhood, but this cannot be a reason for your arrogance and arrogance. Maybe you look down on those children from non-wizard families, but you still need to maintain your proper attitude. Have you ever seen your father bossing around those muggle wizards? Della recalled carefully. He found that his father looked down on those mudbloods, though. But he never showed it when he met the other party. I'll only say this once, and you will keep it firmly in my heart. Hearing what Lucas said, Della nodded thoughtfully. Lucas poured another cup of black tea. Give Delacour time to think. The carriage was quiet. Only the sound of the train running on the rails was left. After a while, Lucas put down his teacup and said suddenly, Want to make friends with Harry Potter? Huh? No, it's just a Potter. Looking at the platinum boy with dodgy eyes and duplicity, Lucas said with a smile, "It seems that I'm misunderstood, and I also said to help you out." He had just finished speaking. Della looked up at him abruptly. What should I do?" Lucas sipped his lipstick tea and seemed in no hurry to answer. This made Della anxious. "Lucas, don't drink tea. If you like it, I'll ask Dad to bring you some more." "Well, that's really thankful to Master Malfoy." Lucas put down his teacup and slowly told Harry about his experiences over the years. How dare they? How dare they treat Harry Potter like this?" Della said angrily. "When I go to school, I must write to my father and ask him to take care of that muggle couple." Lucas rolled his eyes mentally. It seems that Master Malfoy still have a long way to go to get rid of his bad habit of looking for his father when he has something to do. Wait for Della to calm down. Only then did Lucas say, "Do you know why Mr. Savior doesn't want to make friends with you?" Della nodded. "Show off." "I shouldn't show off in front of him. I left a bad impression on him in Mrs. Malkin's robe shop." "So what to do next?" "Apologize, sincerely apologize, curb your bad habits, and be friends with Harry Potter on an equal footing." Lucas nodded in satisfaction. Not bad. It seems that Mr. Malfoy's teaching was not in vain. Putting the teacup on the small table, Lucas got up and walked out. "After you get those two idiots out of the car by yourself, I still have things to deal with." No. Lucas returned to the carriage, and Hermione had already changed into her wizard robe. "Quickly take out the wizard robe from the luggage." He cast the shrink charm on Hermione and his luggage again. "I think you don't like people touching your luggage, although the house elves at Hogwarts will help with luggage. But Lucas doesn't want to be touched." Hermione glanced at the suitcase the size of a matchbox in surprise. "It seems that you are very suitable for law, one Kelluo, the learned Mr. Lucas." At this time, the train had stopped at the Hogsmeade terminal. The two put their luggage in their pockets. Together, they walked towards a door. Coincidentally, the two met Harry and Ron, who were pulling luggage in the passage. "Shrink quickly." Looking at the shrinking luggage, Harry immediately thanked Lucas. And Lucas has the shrinking spell in his hand. It also attracted the exclamation of the first-year freshman. He can be regarded as a little famous among the freshmen. Hogsmeade Terminal. Old and stale. The pitch-black night seemed to engulf the surrounding scenery. It was intimidating to watch. The freshmen looked at the strange world in a daze on the platform. At this time, a voice came from the front. "First-year freshmen, come to me." Hagrid's 3-meter-tall figure drew exclamations from the freshmen. Lucas looked at the castle looming in the distance in the night, suddenly looking forward to the next sorting ceremony. "I don't know after my own flicker. Will the branch of several people be the same as the original book?" So far, Lucas couldn't help but quicken his pace a little. But he didn't forget what he should complain about. The name Hogwarts Express is really correct. Departed at 11 in the morning and arrived at the terminal after dark. 0:17. The sorting ceremony, a different fate. At Hagrid's loud urging, the crowd followed him to the pier. Walking through the muddy road and crossing the dark lake at night, the Big Four came to the ancient castle and established the greatest wizarding school in history, Hogwarts. Hermione sat on the boat, whispering the contents of a piece of school history. "Lucas, are we now going to repeat the path of the Big Four?" "Oh, I'm afraid that Ms. Royna Lawin Kelluo would never have imagined that her college would welcome a smart Miss Hermione after 1,000 years." "Oomph." Hermione raised her head slightly, her eyes filled with a smile. "Look down." Hagrid's loud voice came from ahead. "Wait for everyone to pass under the stone bridge. Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry is just around the corner." Looking at the huge castle in front of him, even Lucas was a little apprehensive. When I saw it in a movie in my previous life, I thought it was very spectacular. But when I really came in front of it, I realized that the appearance shown in the movie was less than 1/10,000th of the real Hogwarts. Hermione, Harry, and Ron on the same boat were also dumbfounded at this time. Obviously, he was amazed by the magnificent castle in front of him. Bang, bang, bang. Hagrid knocked on the gate of the castle, and a black-haired witch came out of the door. The witch's hair was tied up in an updo, and she wore dark green robes. His expression was very serious. "Professor McGonagall, these children are in your hands." After Hagrid finished speaking, he turned and prepared to leave. He also winked at Harry before leaving. "Welcome to Hogwarts." Professor McGonagall looked at the young wizards in front of him seriously and continued. "After a while, you will pass through this door and enter the restaurant. But before you can take your seats, you need to go through the sorting ceremony to determine which college you belong to. Gryffindor, Hufflepuff, Ravenclaw, or Slytherin. The academy is like your home while you're at school. Good performance can add points to the college, but if someone violates the school rules, points will be deducted. At the end of the year, whichever college has the highest score will win the College Cup representing honor. Get ready, we'll start right away." After McGonagall finished speaking, he led the crowd into the first gate. They will wait in the corridor for the start of the restaurant sorting ceremony. Yaho-ho-ho! There was a sudden shout, and then a dozen ghosts emerged from the wall. Seeing the scared faces of the freshmen, these ghosts have become more presumptuous. Lucas is very interested in the ghosts of Hogwarts, just as he was observing with great interest. Suddenly, I felt a cold little hand holding me. Seeing Hermione's pale face, Lucas smiled and said, "Don't be afraid. I'm here. These ghosts are just joking." Of course I know. It was introduced in a piece of school history. He didn't expose the other party, but just clenched his hand. "First-year freshmen, we are ready to start." Professor McGonagall's voice is heard ahead. Immediately afterwards, a bright light came from the door in front of everyone. Freshmen line up to enter. He was quickly attracted by the scenery in front of him. I saw a long table horizontally placed at the front of the restaurant. A group of professors were sitting there at the moment, watching the little wizards. Sitting in the middle of the long table was the headmaster of Hogwarts, Albus Santa Dumbledore. In the hall, there are 4 long tables arranged vertically. Students from the 4 colleges have been waiting at the table for a long time. "Lucas, look up to the sky. Follow Hermione's lead." Lucas saw a gorgeous starry sky, and in mid-air, there are still countless candles floating. Hermione shook Lucas' arm excitedly. "I've read in books that the candles and the ceiling are all bewitched." Lucas didn't have time to reply. Professor McGonagall's voice came from ahead. "The sorting ceremony begins now." After saying that, she unfolded a piece of parchment and read, "Hannah Abbott." Lucas looked forward. A girl with gold braids steps up to the stool. The Iboa family, one of the 28 sacred families. Hannah Abbott, future wife of Neville Longbottom, owner of the Leaky Cauldron. Hufflepuff, with the sorting hat shouting. Cheers immediately erupted from Hufflepuff's long table. "See how easy it is to sort." Ron Weasley breathed a sigh of relief. His big brother, the Weasley twins, had said it before. Only those who defeat the dragon will be assigned to Gryffindor. Ron glanced over the Gryffindor table and saw the gloating twins in one glance. Draco Malfoy, the Della family, is worthy of being a natural Slytherin. The sorting hat barely touched the ends of his hair before screaming out, "Slantling." The sorting ceremony continued. The little wizards stepped forward one by one. Soon, half of the little wizards had a place of their own. Hermione Granger. Hermione took a deep breath. With Lucas' encouragement, he walked to the bar stool. Something strange this time. 2 full minutes passed, and the sorting hat did not make a decision. Lucas looked at Hermione and noticed that her expression seemed displeased. At this moment, the sorting hat sighed, "Lawin Clow." Hermione let out a long breath. He happily ran to the long table of La Wunkeluo. Before leaving, she gave Lucas a cheering gesture. "Congratulations to the host for completing a new achievement. Opposite Destiny. Reward: 50 achievement points." Seeing Dumbledore's slightly surprised eyes, Lucas chuckled inwardly. Then he looked at Harry Potter beside him. "I don't know what choice the Savior classmate will make." 018. Gaining the trust of the Savior. Dumbledore's heart is disturbed, knowing that Dumbledore wouldn't let Harry go to another house. But Lucas still had a little expectation. At this time, Professor McGonagall looked up at the crowd. "Harry Potter." The restaurant immediately erupted. Anyone who lives in the wizarding world has never heard of the name of Harry Potter, even the children of many wizarding families. He grew up listening to his legendary, even little wizards from the Muggle world. I've also learned about the heroic deeds of Harry Potter from related books. Accompanying Harry sat down on the bar stool. All eyes were on him. Even Dumbledore straightened up. "Oh, great to meet you, Harry Potter. Let me see which house you'll be sorted into. Well, what a nice boy, brave, strong, Gryffindor-like, and more." The Sorting Hat's voice echoed in Harry's head. It seemed to have seen something incredible and said in a slightly surprised tone, "Oh, your friend's analysis of the Big Four is very reasonable." The Big Four were indeed very good friends at the time, and they went through many difficulties together. "You know the Big Four?" Harry asked in his head. "Of course. In fact, I am Godric's hat." And then the Big Four cast a spell on me to complete the sorting. Okay, without further ado, I probably already know what college you go to, Gryffindor and Slytherin. These two colleges are of great help to you. Slytherin can bring you a lot of benefits, and it will be of great help to your future. Child, which academy do you want to go to? Harry was a little confused now. Lucas didn't say that he could choose the branch, but I heard the words of the Sorting Hat. Harry's trust in Lucas increased a bit. After all, the other party was right. He was really suitable for Gryffindor and Slytherin. Facing the choice, Harry suddenly felt overwhelmed. The outsiders, on the other hand, have not made a decision after seeing the Sorting Hat for so long. They all wondered if the Sorting Hat was broken. After all, it has experienced more than 1,000 years. Dumbledore's eyes were fixed on Harry's back. He also couldn't figure out what the Sorting Hat was doing. This is very different from what was agreed in advance. After thinking hard for a long time, Harry was still unable to make a decision. Seeing this, the Sorting Hat sent another voice transmission. "Little wizard, do you need me to make a decision for you?" Harry breathed a sigh of relief, nodded immediately, and said, "I'm sorry to trouble you, Gryffindor." The next moment, shouts resounded through the restaurant. The long table in Gryffindor was seething. "We've got Harry Potter. We've got Harry." Pointed wizard hats are flying all over the sky. It could be seen that Gryffindor was very pleased with Harry's arrival. Harry was startled at first by the enthusiasm in front of him. Then he joined in with a smile on his face. I can tell. At this moment, he is enjoying it very much. Lucas hid in the crowd and sighed. If only Harry could get into Slytherin. In that case, Dumbledore's face might become like the bottom of a pot. Pity. The noise in the restaurant lasted for a while before it gradually subsided. The professors could also understand the feelings of the little lions, so they didn't urge them. Dumbledore even led the applause for Harry, seeing the old beast staring at Harry lovingly. Lucas felt a chill. Dumbledore can't be said to be a bad guy, though, but too shrewd, even more shrewd than most Slytherins. As the Dean of Gryffindor, Professor McGonagall is also very happy at the moment, but she has not forgotten her responsibility. He looked back at the admission list. When he saw the next name, Professor McGonagall's expression froze suddenly. Such a noticeable change immediately aroused everyone's curiosity. Professor McGonagall coughed lightly, then called down. Next, Lucas Grindelwald. The restaurant suddenly became silent. Children from the Muggle world. He looked puzzled at the seniors and sisters beside him. It took a long time before someone explained to them what the last name Grindelwald stood for. The long table where the teacher sits. All the professors looked at the blonde boy who was slowly walking towards them, especially Dumbledore. He looked very seriously. When he saw Lucas' name from the Book of Access, for some reason, I didn't stop the admission notice from being sent out. Lucas walked over to the stools step by step. He first greeted the professors behind the long table. At this moment, the smile on his face was full of sunshine. Dumbledore became dazed. Suddenly, things from decades ago came back to my mind. At that time, there was also a blonde boy perched on the windowsill of Grigovich with a sunny, smiling face. Under the gaze of everyone, Lucas put on the old Sorting Hat. This moment, everyone's eyes were focused on the Sorting Hat again. Everyone wants to know which academy the descendants of Grindelwald will be assigned to. 1 minute, 2 minutes, just when everyone got impatient. Suddenly seeing the Sorting Hat twisted, it seemed to be stimulated by something. Everyone looked at Lucas, guessing what he said to make the Sorting Hat look like this. 019. The Sorting Hat. Stop your damned inclemency immediately. If Lucas knew what everyone was thinking at the moment, definitely will shout injustice. He didn't say anything to the Sorting Hat. The time rewinds to 2 minutes ago. After putting on the Sorting Hat, Lucas looked forward to the other party talking to him. Can wait a long time. The Sorting Hat didn't say a word. just when he felt strange. A roar suddenly appeared in my mind. Stop your goddamn occlumency immediately. Immediately. Swear to Merlin. Lucas had never felt the anger in his tone so clearly. He didn't expect it either. The full level of clemency is actually so easy to use. Even the sorting hat couldn't pass the information into his brain. The roar, just now, it must have taken a lot of work for the sorting hat. The intensity of a clemency has been slightly relaxed. The sorting hat can finally communicate with Lucas smoothly. Oh, Grindelwald boy, I have to say your clemency is pretty good, and thank you for your compliments on the Big Four. Thank you for your compliment, Mr. Hat. Let's not talk nonsense. Let me see what academy you should enter. The voice just fell. Lucas felt a strange force invading his brain. Fortunately, this force can only be explored superficially. And oh, I haven't seen such an interesting little guy for a long time. Perhaps in retaliation for Lucas' brain-blocking behavior. The sorting hat's next words were heard so loudly that the entire restaurant could hear them. Educated, curious about everything, fair-minded, you are undoubtedly a good candidate for Lawin Kelluo. Words from the sorting hat. Hermione, on the long table at Lewin Klaus, had a smile on her face. The rest of the academy was ready to stand and cheer. But the sorting hat obviously hasn't finished talking. Brave, courageous, and selfless. I seem to see the shadow of Godric in you, and I think you can also achieve good results in Gryffindor. Whoa, loyalty, integrity, yes, how the likes a kid like you the most. Of course, with your surname and innate shrewdness, Salazar might accept you as his disciple. Then, little wizard, it's up to you to make a choice. This moment, Lucas became the focus of the audience. The students of the 4 colleges watched him closely, waiting for him to make a final decision. Dumbledore was also curious. How would the blonde boy in front of him choose? Is it Gryffindor, Lawin Kelluo, or Hufflepuff? Still choose Slytherin. Lucas hesitated for only a few seconds. I made a decision in my heart. Knowing Lucas' choice, the sorting hat asked, "Have you decided?" "Well, since that's the case, I'm going to announce it." Slytherin, boom. The Slytherin table erupted in unprecedented cheers. Della, Koo stood up and applauded. Lucas puts the sorting hat on the chair. He saluted the professors politely and then walked towards the long table in Slytherin. Congratulations to the host for obtaining a new achievement. Set sail Hogwarts. Rewards. 100 achievement points, a box of BB multi-flavored beans. Watching that elegant figure gradually go away, Dumbledore's eyes became a little complicated, but more worried and defensive. But his eyes were perfectly blocked by those glasses. It cannot be explored by others. The sorting ceremony was soon over. Then it was Headmaster Dumbledore's turn to speak. As a principal, if you don't speak for more than half an hour, you are not qualified. Obviously, Dumbledore was very unqualified, because he said only 4 words. Stupid, sneezer, scum, screw, thank you all. As his words fell, a sumptuous amount of food appeared on the empty long table. The little wizards who had been hungry for a long time immediately turned their bows left and right. Certainly, little snakes of Slytherin, don't forget to socialize at this time. Hey, Mr. Grindelwald, nice to meet you. My name is Boo Rice Sabini. You can call me by my first name. Nice to meet you. Just call me Lucas. Rice is tall, dark-skinned, with brown eyes. He seems to have a good relationship with Delaco. Lucas also knew that this guy was rich, or his mother is very rich. Madame Zabini was a beautiful and famous witch. She has been married 7 times. Without exception, her husband died early due to various reasons. As a widow, Mrs. Zabini received a large inheritance. This also includes many shops in Diagon Alley. Lucas is willing to engage with each other, simply because the Zabini family would be a good partner. At this time, Della also brought several people to Lucas. Lucas, let me introduce you. This is Pansy Parkinson, and this is Daphne Greengrass. They're all my good friends. Lucas nodded politely to the 2 and praised their beauty, by the way. These 2 are no strangers to him. All are members of the Holy 28 family. One is Della's girlfriend from science school. The other is Della's future sister-in-law. But now, with Lucas in the future, the dinner ended in such a friendly atmosphere. Wait until the last little wizard put down the knife and fork in his hand. Dumbledore stood up again and said, I have a few items for the Star School that need everyone's attention, especially the first-year freshmen. This school strictly prohibits any students from entering the Forbidden Forest. In addition, our administrator, Mr. Fitcher, wants me to remind you that the corridor on the 4th floor is also a forbidden area. If you don't want to have an accident, don't go there. Now, please sing our school song with your own familiar tune. With a wave of Dumbledore's hand, lyrics appeared in midair. Ends with a messy off-key song. All colleges returned to their bedrooms under the leadership of the prefects. Corridor leading to the basement. The girl leading the crowd spoke. I'm Slytherin Prefect Gemma Farley. Please observe discipline. I don't want anyone to be deducted points. And those freshmen, please put away your curious and ignorant eyes, and always remember that you are a Slytherin. She brought everyone to a wet wall and said, Pure blood. The walls pop open. Reveals the common room inside. The representative colors of Slytherin are silver and green. Therefore, the decoration of these two colors can be seen everywhere in the common room. Through the glass overhead, everyone can still see the magical creatures swimming in the Black Lake. There's even a giant octopus tentacles in it. Before the freshmen came back to their senses, senior students have cleared the lounges of furniture. Delacour approached Lucas and said, The next step is to choose the head of the grade. Lucas, you have to be careful. CH 020. Grade Chief. No challenging duels. Grade Chief Challenge. A traditional item unique to Slantling. The evening of the first day of each term, Slytherins will duel for a year chief. The chief has absolute right to speak in this grade, except for the first-year freshmen. At this moment, the principals of the other grades have stepped forward one by one. The first is the second grade. Is there anyone who wants to do the chief challenge? The head of the second grade, Eli Macmillan, stood up and looked at the crowd. The second-year student shook his head tactfully. Those who could be elected chief are not mediocre. Naturally, there will be no self-defeating people. The Macmillan family is another member of the Holy 28 family. Wait until Macmillan returns to his place. Prefect Gemma Farley called out the heads of other grades in turn. Snakes from other grades also did not participate in the challenge. Lucas yawned gracefully and asked in a low voice to the side, Delacour, how long will it take? I need to rest. Maybe it will take a while. Cheer up, Lucas. Someone will definitely challenge you later. Oh, Lucas raised an eyebrow. Della does not need to go into details. At this moment, he has noticed two malicious eyes. He looked at the two groups of people staring straight at him. Lucas asked, Those people have hatred against you? Della nodded. That's right. It's the bastards of Rawl and the Selwyn family. The two of them have always been close. Here, both surnames. Lucas knew it. The Rawl and Selwyn families are also the Holy 28 families, and these two families were very loyal to Voldemort. Back then, Voldemort was defeated. Delacour's father, Lucius Malfoy, claimed to be under the Imperius Curse. Add money to open the way. He successfully avoided the fate of going to Azkaban. No wonder the two families hate Delacour so much. In their eyes, the Malfoy family is the traitor among the Death Eaters. Figure out cause and effect. Lucas looked dangerously at those people. Loyal to Voldemort? That is a useless person. First-year freshman, now it's your turn. If you want to participate in the Chief Challenge, please come to the middle. People from the two families, Rawl and Selwyn, stepped forward immediately. They looked at Delacour sitting on the sofa and said, Delacour Malfoy, you don't want to be a turtle, do you? Beat D. Della cursed, got up and walked to the duel arena. Lucas sighed, unable to keep up. This brat, can't he see that the other party is provoking him? At this moment, there were more than a dozen freshmen standing in the middle of the venue. They're all people from various families, although the duel has not yet begun. But everyone's eyes are already lingering on Lucas. No way. Who made his surname so eye-catching? First-year chief challengers start now. Prefect Gemma Farley had just finished speaking. The people of the Luoer family resorted to the Tarantella dance. Delacour waved his wand with a disdainful expression. Curse stopped, with the demonstration of two people. The other little wizards also acted. The front teeth competition is great. Grin holala, flocks of birds, tarantella dance, fire roasted hot and spicy. After all, the little wizards have only just entered school. It's good to be able to use spells. Among them, the most powerful spell is only hot and spicy. There's just one thing Lucas can't figure out. Why are these people's curses aimed at themselves? Armor Guard. Use the Iron Armor Curse to block the incoming poisonous curse. Lucas' expression became very ugly. If the tiger doesn't show off its power, is it treating me like a sick cat? Look at the eager eyes of the little snakes. Lucas immediately drew his wand. Everyone, please forgive me if the shot is too heavy later. All petrified. The petrification spell quickly hit the nearest little wizard. The other party fell to the ground in a daze without even responding. Seeing that Lucas made a move, it was a petrification curse. These little snakes are afraid. We are all classmates, so I will be very measured. With that, Lucas threw another stunning charm. Looking at his companion, who fell to the ground. The little snakes kept scolding their mothers in their hearts. I don't know who took the lead, but I couldn't think of provoking the devil. Seeing that no one dared to point a wand at himself, Lucas was terribly disappointed with these guys. Now that it has been shot, then you have to have the courage to bear the consequences. Tornaparat. Break a chair with the splitting charm. Lucas waved his wand, and the fragments of the chair floated in the air. With the wand in his hand waved again, the fragments immediately turned into sharp table knives. Wadi Vasi. Following the launch spell is spoken. The table knife immediately flew towards a group of little snakes. Everything happened too fast. It was too late for the seniors to stop them. Fortunately, Lucas shot very well. Just use the table knife to drive the little snakes out of the duel area. Among the senior crowd watching the game, 5th grade head Carlon House asked Chief Payne Travers, who is a year ahead of you. Payne, what do you think of that Mr. Grindelwald? If he only has this level, then it's not difficult for me to deal with it. But seeing him complete the transformation spell so easily, I'm afraid his strength is not limited to that. Carl nodded. He very much approved of his friend's judgment. At the same time, snakes from other grades were also discussing Lucas' situation. The strength he displayed won the favor of many present. Goblins, after cleaning up these prisoners. Lucas turned to look at Delaco. Just happened to see him in the duel with an own goal. Looking at Lucas walking towards him, Della smiled wryly and shook his head. Lucas, I abstain. After saying that, he quickly jumped out of the duel range. Seeing this, Gemma Farley stepped forward and said, the duel is over, and ahead of the 1st grade is Lucas Grindelwald. As soon as the voice fell, there was warm applause in the lounge. Congratulations to the host for completing the new achievement. The beginning of the legend. Reward, 100 achievement points. Congratulations to the host for completing the new achievement. Bad students will fight, and every time you defeat a person, you'll get 10 achievement points and the total reward, 130 achievement points. Lucas was slightly distracted by the 2 beeps. After entertaining the chiefs, Lucas came to his single dormitory. Since it's the first day of school, why not draw a prize? Lucas eagerly sat down on the bed and immediately called the system out. At this time, the principal's room on the 8th floor of the castle. Dumbledore paced the office worriedly. Headmaster Dumbledore, are you looking for me? Severus, come quickly. I have something very important to see you. Immediately afterwards, head of Slytherin House, Severus Snape appeared at the door. CH 021. Dumbledore's worry. Full-level killing curse? Snape rarely saw Dumbledore worry about one thing. Ever since Voldemort disappeared, the other party always has a smile on his face. Professor Dumbledore, you should know that I'm very busy. If you don't talk like this, please forgive me and leave for a while. Snape turned and walked out, and the expression is quite ugly. Oh, Severus, wait. I wanted to talk to you about Lucas Grindelwald. Snape turned sharply. With a slight sneer on his face, he said, What? Does Principal Dumbledore even have to guard against a little wizard now? Severus, you know I didn't mean that. Then what do you mean? Tell me to keep an eye on a little wizard. See, Dumbledore is silent. The sneer on Snape's face was even more evident. Principal Dumbledore, I still have a lot of work to do, and I don't have time to play house with you. watching Snape turn and walk up the steps. Dumbledore said hastily, "Please, this is a critical time, just for Harry's sake." Looking at Snape, who continued walking without looking back, Dumbledore said again, "Just for Lily's sake." Snape stopped suddenly. He turned sharply towards Dumbledore. Due to the high speed, the black wizard robe on his body floated up. It looks like a big bat. Snape came to the other side, his empty eyes filled with sadness. At this moment, he was like a wounded beast. Never, never, never mention her name in front of me. Sorry, Severus. Harry is her child. You saw him too. He has the same green eyes as his mother. At the mention of Green's eyes, Snape's eyes trembled. He took 2 steps back, looking at Dumbledore helplessly. "What do you want me to do?" "Look at him. Don't let him do anything wrong. The kid has been living in Austria. I'm not sure if he will have any influence on our plans." Make sure Dumbledore has finished speaking. Snape immediately headed for the spiral staircase. Looking at the back of the other party, leaving, Dumbledore let out a long breath. Having known Snape for many years, he knew that the other party agreed to his request. A total of 20 rewards were obtained in this lottery, including 12 bronze rewards, 5 silver rewards, and 3 gold rewards. The details are as follows: bronze rewards: 80 galleons, 60 galleons, 140 galleons, 1 galleon, 2 pairs of wool socks, delicious dried mouse, sizzling honey candy, boutique wizard robe, Grindelwald's stinky socks, fresh white grass, vanilla. Silver rewards: Curse Illusion Curse, Level 3, Curse Crushing Curse, Level 1, 3, First and Second Grade Potion Knowledge Reserve. Gold reward: 2 points of talent can be assigned. Unforgivable Curse Killing Curse, Level 9, Blessing Elixir. All items have been put into the system backpack, and the host can pick them up at any time. Isn't there a platinum reward? Although he was prepared, Lucas was still a little disappointed. However, thinking that there's only a 0.3% chance of platinum rewards, I feel much better. There's still too few achievement points saved. 20 can't draw a miracle. Lucas opened the system and first received the talent points. His black magic talent has reached the full level. These 2 talents are added according to merit and should be added to enchantments and transfiguration. He could think of his horrible talent in potions. Lucas decided to add a little to potions anyway. The remaining point is allocated to charms. This gave him 8 points in charms and 2 points in potions. System: received the Killing Curse and Illusion Curse. Successfully received. Found that the host has learned the Killing Curse, Level 2, and automatically replaced it with the Killing Curse, Level 9. There are many ways to apply the Killing Curse and Disillusionment Curse in Lucas' mind. Especially the full-level Killing Curse gave him a feeling of handiness. After accepting 2 spells, Lucas looked at the rest. After using Potions Knowledge Reserve for grades 1 and 2, you can quickly master the knowledge. Nice one. Lucas put it to use right away. When he sees 3 of the same crushing spell, Level 1, he asked with a slightly puzzled expression, "System, what's the use of this level of shattering spell?" This system provides synthesis services. 3 same low-level skills can be combined into high-level skills. Lucas's eyes lit up. This function is good. In the future, if you draw low-level spells, you won't be afraid of wasting them. As for the Felix Elixir, there is nothing to say. The Lucky Potion is extremely difficult to brew, and it is definitely a good thing. At last, he looked at the Bronze Award. Among the many things, white fresh grass and rue grass may be the most useful. These 2 herbs can be made into Baixianjing and Rujing. One can be used to heal wounds, and the other can be used to detoxify. As for Grindelwald's smelly socks, Lucas threw it directly into the Void Rift, letting it float in the vast and boundless space. System: open the character list. Name: Lucas Grindelwald. Age: 11 years old. Identity: leader of the Saints Investment Group, son of Gellert Grindelwald, freshman at Hogwarts. Bloodline: Void Elf, First Awakening. Talent: Void Fisher Magic Power. 12, adult wizard level. Charms: 8 Transfiguration, for black magic. 9, full level, Divination. 3 potions, 2 skills. Occlumency, Level 9. Fire Shield, Level 8. Illusion Curse, Level 3. Killing Curse, Level 9. Crushing Curse, Level 2. Magic item: Felicia, achievement points. 30, seeing that in just over a month, the magic power has increased by 2 points. Lucas felt the strength of the elf blood. System, how can I continue to awaken the bloodline? The host can obtain the awakening potion through the diamond lottery to complete the awakening or awaken on its own with the host talent. Lucas thought about it and still felt that the lottery was more reliable. The system is shut down. He took out the delicious mouse and fed it to Astia, who was beside him. At the same time, he looked at his series of achievements. Collecting the relics of the Big Four, the other 3 are easy to talk about. But the Gryffindor sword is not easy to handle. The key point is that it will sneak away by itself. By the way, the system, 3 of the relics of the Big Four are Horcruxes. What about Voldemort's soul fragments? The series of achievements requires the relics of the Big Four. The host should properly handle souls. If the relics are damaged, the series of achievements cannot be completed. TSK, this is troublesome. Lucas fell asleep thinking about it. On the second day, the restaurant. The freshmen from the other 3 houses looked curiously at the long Slytherin table. It's because they're acting so weird. A group of people sat there without eating. He didn't even speak. The quietness was scary. CH 022. Slytherins are so cool. Snapped. Della slapped the back of Goyle's hand hard, looking at the other party's aggrieved appearance. He said dissatisfiedly, "Are you trying to break the rules?" Master Malfoy, "I'm just too hungry." Delaco, I told you earlier, stay away from these 2 idiots. Shut up, Pansy Parkinson. Seeing Della's face is not happy. Pansy snorted softly, turned around, and continued chatting with Daphne beside her. Bryce, this guy, seems to dislike not being lively enough. He patted Theodore Knott's shoulder beside him. "Look, our Prince Della has quarreled with his princess." As soon as these words came out, the people around immediately laughed. Small groups like this are common in Slytherin. But the strange thing is that the freshmen would rather chat while hungry than touch the food on the table. The freshmen of the other 3 colleges are very puzzled by this. Harry picked up the bread and asked the people around him while eating, "Why don't people in Slytherin eat?" "It's up to us to answer that question for you, dear Harry." Suddenly, 2 identical heads appear beside Harry. Fred Weasley, George Weasley. "Nice to meet you." The famous Weasley twins appear. The way they sang together, Harry found it very interesting. The 2 sides briefly introduced themselves. Fred Weasley looked at the long table opposite and said, "It's about this time again." "Traditional items in Slytherin," George Weasley went on. "Remarkable, well-mannered Slytherin," the 2 said in unison. Seeing his cute little brother looked impatient, the 2 immediately had a mischievous idea. "Look, our little Ronnie actually started to dislike Big Brother." "Oh, Fred, our little Ronnie has grown up and doesn't need a big brother anymore." "I think so, George. It's such a relief." The funny behavior of the twins filled the Gryffindor table with laughter. After laughing, Harry asked, "Fred, George, you haven't told me what happened to Slytherin." The twins bowed around and thanked them before answering. "You can't say it, or it won't be fun. But we can assure you, you'll think Slytherin is cool by then." The 2 looked mysterious. Instead, the lion cubs looked at Slytherin frequently. They are full of curiosity, looking forward to the cool things that the twins say. There are also young eagles in the Eagle Academy who are also full of curiosity. Hermione frowned slightly as she sat at the table. Qiu Zhang looked at her looking around and teased, "Is our Miss Granger looking for a sweetheart?" "No. If senior sister talks nonsense again, I will ignore you," Hermione replied stiffly. But her blushing cheeks seemed to reveal something. The 2 beauties were playing and playing, which attracted the attention of a large number of people. Look at the energetic little wizards. Dumbledore, who was sitting in the teacher's chair, chuckled, "What a wonderful age." Several professors, including McGonagall, smiled and nodded in agreement. At this time, Dumbledore changed the subject. Looking at the long table in Slytherin, he said, "Severus, it seems that the head of Slater Lin Yi's grade has been determined. Who will it be? I'm really looking forward to it." Snape put the sliced sausage into his mouth, turned a blind eye to Dumbledore's play of foolishness. But Snape's eyes were still on the Slytherin table. Thinking of what Dumbledore told him last night, There was a ripple in his empty eyes. At this time, footsteps were heard again outside the restaurant. Unlike other people who are in a hurry, people who come and go seem to be walking at a leisurely pace. The Slytherin snakes immediately looked towards the door. The little wizards who led other colleges also looked over. The visitor has gorgeous blonde hair. A pair of deep blue eyes revealed gentleness and kindness. Even if it is the first time you see it, you will unconsciously have a good impression of the owner of these eyes. Lucas here. Harry didn't notice the difference in the atmosphere. He waved his hand and invited his friends at the door to have breakfast together. Not today. Harry, how about another day? Politely declined the other party. Lucas stepped over to the Slytherin table. Hula. There was a loud sound as the wizard's robe rubbed against the bench. It is impossible for one person to cause such a big commotion. Looking at the new Slytherin who suddenly stood up, the other colleges seemed to realize something. In unison, the new Slytherin students drew their wands, faced Lucas with standard etiquette. Chief, how does it feel when dozens of people greet you together? It might be exciting for others, but Lucas was used to it. He returned the salute with the same gesture and said with a little apology, "Sorry for keeping everyone waiting for a long time. Let's sit down and eat." Wait until the Slytherin people sit back at the long table. The students from other colleges came back to their senses. Cool, some freshmen said unconsciously. Seeing this, the old students just smiled lightly. Why didn't they think so at first? The Weasley twins came to Harry again. We're right, aren't we? Isn't it really cool? If one day someone is willing to do such a thing for us, we could do whatever we want. The exaggerated expressions of the twins once again enlivened the atmosphere. Unlike Gryffindor's laughter, the Slytherin students ate quietly. Lucas looked around the crowd, and seeing that everyone was almost finished eating, he said, "Everyone, I have something to announce." Everyone immediately put down the knives and forks in their hands and turned to look at the blonde boy sitting in the front row. 023. Depressed Hermione and worried Dumbledore. What's the most annoying thing about Hogwarts? Undoubtedly those stairs that change positions at any time. And intricate corridors. Every year, new students arrive late because they get lost. Lucas didn't want this to happen to him. Yesterday, I consulted with the second-year chief, Mr. Eli McMillan. After breakfast, there is still 1 hour before the morning's transfiguration class. Mr. McMillan will send someone to guide us to familiarize ourselves with the routes leading to each classroom. I don't want people to deduct points because they can't find their way just after school starts. Do you understand? Yes, Chief. Hear everyone answer in unison. Lucas nodded in satisfaction, signaling for those who were not full to eat more. Not far away is the long table of La One-Keluo. Hermione looked at Lucas, who seemed to be radiating light all over, feeling a little depressed. She thought the other party was too excellent. No matter where you go, you will get people's attention. But what about myself? In addition to learning ability is not bad. It seems that there is no advantage that can be obtained. There are many shortcomings, such as fluffy hair and small rabbit teeth. The young little witch suddenly realized the troubles other than studying. Qiu Zhang looked at the friend he met only yesterday. He smiled knowingly. She turned to look at the Slytherin table. Looking at that junior curiously, what kind of magical power does he have, so that the little witch who has only known him for a day is troubled by him? Also watching Lucas was Dumbledore from the teacher's seat, although I was prepared in my heart. But seeing the respectful attitude of the Slytherin students towards Lucas, Dumbledore's heart was filled with worry. Minerva, I remember the Slytherin children had your transfiguration class this morning, right? Yes, Mr. Headmaster. Then please help me send a message to Mr. Grindelwald. Ask him to come to the principal's office after class and say that I want to talk to him. Professor McGonagall nodded, his expression turning serious. When he was talking, he didn't avoid the others. After hearing this, Snape also looked at the blonde boy on the long table. Can't wait to see through the other party now. To the attention of everyone in the teacher's seat, Lucas turned a blind eye. According to the thinking of ordinary people, with his status, he should try to keep a low profile when he came to Hogwarts. Avoid arousing Dumbledore's suspicions. Originally, Lucas thought so too. I even recalled the web articles I read in my previous life in my mind. hoped to learn from the experience of the predecessors, but later found out that what he did seemed superfluous, even a little silly. Just his last name. Even if Lucas came to Hogwarts to clean the toilets, Dumbledore would have suspected he had ulterior motives. That being the case, why keep a low profile? Show yourself in a high-profile manner. Attract more people's attention. Maybe someone will be willing to follow him. Either Grindelwald or Voldemort. It was done this way at the beginning. Breakfast is over. Lucas asked Della to leave first with people. He came to the long table of Ron Kaleo under the eyes of everyone, looking at the little witch who bowed her head silently. Lucas teased and said, "The beautiful Miss Hermione seems to have something on her mind. Is someone offending you? Tell me the name. Your knight is willing to help you out." No, Hermione replied in a low voice, then ran out with her head down. Lucas frowned slightly, wondering what was wrong with the other party for a while. On the other hand, Qiu Zhang smiled and said, "Brave knight, what if you offend Her Highness the Princess?" Lucas sighed in his heart. The girl's mind is really hard to guess. Although he didn't understand the specific reason, he still thanked Qiu Zhang. By the way, I praised the other party's beauty. When Lucas came to the transformation classroom, the little snakes of Slytherin had arrived, so no one was absent. He showed a satisfied expression. "Come to the front row." I saw the tabby cat squatting on the desk. Lucas bowed slightly and said hello to the other party. Others may not know, but he knew that this was not a tabby cat at all. It's Animagus of Professor McGonagall. The so-called Animagus is an extremely profound transformation spell. It can turn the human body into some kind of animal and retain its own magical powers. Certainly, high magic often comes with risks. If there is no outstanding deformation talent, it is basically impossible to learn Animagus. Lucas has always wanted to try, but it has never been successful and even encountered danger a few times. Fortunately, Vita Rothier, a powerful witch, saved the day. When you get a chance, you must ask Professor McGonagall for advice. Lucas thought in his seat. At this time, there were chaotic footsteps outside the classroom door. Harry Potter and his good friend Ron were late. "Hey, I'm not mistaken. We're not late. You see, Professor McGonagall isn't here yet." Ron gasped and said to Harry beside him. The voice just fell. The tabby cat on the table jumped down. In the blink of an eye, it was Professor McGonagall. Under the stunned expression of everyone, Professor McGonagall walked up to the two of them. "It's really a clever method." "Thank you for your compliment, Mr. Weasley," McGonagall replied gravely. "I thought I'd turn Mr. Potter and you into a pocket watch. Maybe that would be more useful." Harry said shyly, "I'm sorry, Professor. We got lost." "Oh, then hurry back to your seat." Compared with the Slytherin who just came together, Professor McGonagall's tone became visibly annoyed. "Say it." She turned back to Lucas' side. "Mr. Grindelwald, Principal Dumbledore asked me to convey that he would like to invite you to the principal's office after class. The principal's office is on the 8th floor of the castle, behind the two-headed stone beast. The password is lemon sherbet." Lucas smiled. "Thank you, Professor McGonagall. I will go." His polite behavior earned Professor McGonagall a smile. "Gentlemen and ladies, please open your textbooks. Let's start class." 024. The first score of the new semester from Slytherin. Transfiguration is the most complex and dangerous magic you teach at Hogwarts. Anyone who tries to misbehave in my class, I ask him out and never come back. I warned you. Transfiguration is extensive and profound, and it can be regarded as a subject alone, which proves what I said. The first class of the new semester. Let's learn what transfiguration is. Professor McGonagall waved his wand. The podium behind him turned into a fat little pig. Lucas looked at the piggies running around. Show unprecedented interest. Turn the dead into life. This is probably beyond the category of transfiguration. Seeing the shocked look of the little wizards, Professor McGonagall twitched his lips calmly. She likes this feeling so much. Put away your surprised expressions. As long as you listen carefully, you can do it in the future. Okay, today I'm going to teach you how to turn a match into a silver needle. It was still Professor McGonagall who took the lead in demonstrating. Then she asked the crowd to wave their wands in a fixed line, until everyone memorizes the spells and actions clearly. Only then did the matches be distributed to every little wizard. Lucas looked at the matches on the table and couldn't help but waved his wand. Thanks to a good transfiguration talent, he turned a match into a silver needle in one stroke. This made him even more interested. Carefully recall Professor McGonagall's movement when casting polymorph on the lectern. He waved his wand again. This time, the silver needle turned into a dung beetle after a while of twisting. Well known, the more complicated and difficult the deformation, the more power it needs to consume. To turn a dead thing into a living thing, the strength required is at least a 5th grade student. Watching dung beetles crawling around, Lucas smiled and kept waving his wand in his hand. I saw that the bug turned into a water cup for a while and turned into a mouse for a while. He had a great time, but he forgot that there was someone else sitting beside him. Feeling Lucas' movement, Della glanced to the side inadvertently. Immediately afterwards, his exclamation sounded in the classroom. "Merlin, how did you do it?" Professor McGonagall turned around in displeasure. "Mr. Malfoy, I think it should be." The little lions looked gloating. They were about to watch a Slytherin house joke. Suddenly, he found that his dean's words stopped. Everyone followed her gaze to Lucas, immediately attracted by the ever-changing matches on the opponent's table. "Oh, Merlin, Mr. Grindelwald, I have to say that you have an excellent talent for transfiguration, and I declare Slytherin plus points," Professor McGonagall happily announced to everyone. As soon as she finished speaking, the sound of the system rang in Lucas' ears. "Congratulations to the host for obtaining a new achievement. The top spot. Reward, 50 achievement points. Congratulations to the host for obtaining a new achievement. A successful start. Reward, 50 achievement points. Congratulations to the host for obtaining a new achievement. The best in history. Achievement, 100 achievement points." Lucas took a deep breath. Xindao is worthy of Hogwarts. Just the first class brought him 200 achievement points. The achievement of winning the first prize can only be obtained by the first student who earns extra points at the beginning of the semester. It was a successful start because Lucas was the first one to add points to Slytherin this semester. The last best achievement in history shows that the speed with which he cast the transfiguration just now has entered the top 3 in Hogwarts historical results. Think of the follow-up. There are so many courses. There are still so many unknown places in Hogwarts Castle. Lucas suddenly cheered up. In his opinion, these are all achievement points, and they are the help to make him stronger. "Hey Ron, look, Lucas is awesome. I saw the envious eyes of my friends," Ron said with some displeasure. "Harry, he's a Slytherin. Didn't you see the way he looked this morning? Making everyone wait for him to eat? Oh, that's too overbearing." Harry smiled awkwardly. He knew in his heart that Ron didn't like bringing up Lucas himself, but he really thought Lucas was a nice guy. Mr. Ron Weasley didn't notice Harry's embarrassed expression. He looked at the praised Lucas and felt uncomfortable in his heart. "Isn't it just changing into an animal? I could do it too." His words immediately caught the attention of his friend Harry. Under the gaze of the other party, Ron said the spell and waved his wand again and again. Boom! There was a flash of light. I saw that the table in front of Ron suddenly grew several legs. "The desks are on a rampage. Make a mess of classroom order." Mr. Weasley, as I said at the beginning, transfiguration is the most complex and dangerous form of magic. But you don't seem to have listened to my words. Because of your recklessness, I have to deduct 5 points from Gryffindor Academy. "Oh, please, Professor McGonagall, I know I was wrong." Professor McGonagall ignored Ron's pleas. Just when she was about to deal with the mess left by the other party, there was another loud noise not far away, and black smoke filled the entire classroom immediately. 025. Good student Lucas Grindelwald. Della and Harry reconcile. Seamus Finnegan, nicknamed the Demolitionist, whatever the spell. Simo's performance is very stable. Stable explosions. Not surprisingly, the explosion in the classroom was caused by him. "Mr. Seamus Finnegan," roared Professor McGonagall through the smoke. Gryffindor, another 5 points. Oh, the little lions immediately lost their vitality. This class is not over yet. They already got 10 points, which is too bad. The wind whirls suddenly. The clear voice echoed in the classroom. The strong wind seemed to be condensed into a rope, and black smoke flew out from the gate. Lucas used cleanup a few more times around the classroom, suddenly changed back to how it was at the beginning. Oh, very powerful magic, Professor McGonagall praised. She easily subdued Ron's desk. Mr. Grindelwald, if you don't mind, can you come on stage and show everyone how you cast the spell just now? Of course, it's my pleasure. Lucas came to the podium with his wand in hand. Look at the podium and wave your wand again. It's also a little pig, but the pig that Lucas created is bigger than Professor McGonagall. Casting spells silently, it's amazing. At this time, Professor McGonagall looked at Lucas as if he saw a rare treasure. Mr. Grindelwald, I think you are eligible to enter the Transfiguration Club for further study. What do you think? Thank you very much, Professor McGonagall. Of course I would. McGonagall was overjoyed, turned to look at the crowd, and said, 5 points from Slytherin for Mr. Grindelwald's excellent silent casting and beautiful transfiguration. Even the calm little snakes. After hearing Professor McGonagall's words, he couldn't help but exclaim. Lucas smiled slightly and thanked the other party. This is Minerva McGonagall, fair and equal. If it were Professor Severus Snape, see, other colleges are so excellent. Although he will not deliberately deduct points, he will definitely not add points. Certainly, except Gryffindor. After a few minutes of excitement, the classroom returned to calm. As an excellent student representative, Lucas accepted Professor McGonagall's invitation, responsible for guiding the little wizards to complete the first transformation. Hey, Delaco, swing your wand a little higher. With Lucas' guidance, Delaco Malfoy became the second person to turn a match into a silver needle. To this end, Professor McGonagall added 2 more points for Slytherin. As time passed, some lion cubs also began to seek Lucas' help. He didn't say no because of the strained relationship between the 2 chambers. On the contrary, he is more patient and careful when guiding. This won him the favor of most lion cubs. Lucas, can you help me? I still can't turn matches into silver needles. Looking at the helpless Harry Potter beside him, Lucas nodded with a smile. Of course, it's no problem. We're friends. Harry's uneasy heart suddenly became calm. The 2 came to the desk. Before Lucas could speak, Ron spoke first. Oh, nasty Slytherin. Seeing Harry frown slightly, a trace of boredom flashed in his eyes. Lucas immediately thought about it. Harry, let me demonstrate again. You look forward to it. Patiently showed Mr. Savior how to use the transformation spell. He also guided the other party's movement of waving the wand hand in hand. Seeing that half of the matches turned into silver needles, Lucas immediately encouraged. That's right. If you keep working hard, you're not far from success. In this way, I will call someone for you to ensure that you can master the transformation spell before get out of class is over. Della Branch, not waiting for Harry to refuse. Seeing Della, Lucas called to the side, looking at Harry standing beside him. Della Branch immediately understood Lucas' plan. Don't worry, Lucas. I'll let Harry finish his study successfully. Delacoe's phrase, rest assured, is full of many meanings. Wait until Lucas leaves. Della immediately turned to Harry and said, I'm sorry about what happened last time. I shouldn't have spoken to you like that. Also in the robe shop, I didn't know you were Harry Potter at the time. I shouldn't show off in front of you, sorry. Let's get to know each other again. My name is Delaco Malfoy. Fake Malfoy. Delaco squinted at Ron Weasley, who was sitting beside him. It took a lot of effort to suppress his anger. Seeing this, Harry hurriedly said, Never mind, Ron, he didn't mean it. My name is Harry Potter. Nice to meet you, Mr. Malfoy soon. The first class of freshmen at Hogwarts is over. With the help of Della Branch, Harry successfully completed the transfiguration charm. The relationship between the 2 has also been eased. When Professor McGonagall announced his dismissal, the little lions couldn't wait to rush out of the classroom and ran to have fun in the corridor. And the little wizard of Slytherin. He looked at them with disdain and disgust. Then, bickering happens naturally. It wasn't until Lucas appeared that the 2 sides gave up. Under the promotion of the 2 colleges, students from the other 2 colleges learned about Lucas' performance in Transfiguration before lunch. At the same time, Miss Hermione Granger walked down the corridor to the restaurant for lunch with an angry look on her face. It seemed that someone had offended this know-it-all lady. 026. Cloudy turns sunny. confident Miss Granger. Hermione, wait for me. You're walking too fast. Cho Chang trotted after Hermione. See the other party's ugly face. She teased, "What's the matter? Could it be someone's night made her angry again?" Q, this joke isn't funny at all. I just think it's unfair. Why is Professor Snape unwilling to give us extra points when I answered all the questions correctly? After hearing this, Qiu Zhang suddenly realized. She laughed a few times at first, explaining to Hermione's dissatisfied eyes. Professor Snape is like this. Even his own house rarely gets points, and the other houses even less. You should be glad you're not in Gryffindor. Otherwise, don't say bonus points. You should thank Merlin if you don't lose points. Isn't there anyone else? Hermione grumbled. Care? The extra points are the professor's power and freedom, and even Headmaster Dumbledore has no right to interfere. After some explanation, Hermione's face brightened a little. Seeing this, Qiu Zhang brought the topic back to a certain knight. Have you heard? Today your knight showed his prowess in Professor McGonagall's Transfiguration class. He alone added 15 points to Slytherin. I heard that Professor McGonagall invited him to join the Transfiguration Club. Oh, Merlin, that's the Transfiguration Club. Anyone who can join is a master of Transfiguration. Hermione, did you know that Professor McGonagall has never invited a freshman, let alone a freshman? Something about Lucas in class. Of course Hermione knew, even if she didn't see it with her own eyes. I can also imagine what Lucas looked like when he cast the spell. It should be the same as he was on the train, calm, elegant, and easy. Oh, it seems that some people are secretly happy for their knights. Seeing the smile on the corner of Hermione's mouth, Qiu Zhang immediately laughed out loud. Hermione smiled wryly and shook her head. Q, stop joking, he is so excellent. Oh, beautiful little witch, are you troubled by love? No wonder your expression is wrong today. Hermione didn't refute, but smiled reluctantly, as an acknowledgement of the other party's words. Cho Chang walked up to Hermione quickly, blocking her way. Hermione, you have to be more confident. In my opinion, you are excellent. There is no one you are not worthy of. Besides, whether you are worthy or not is not up to you, let alone someone else's, but Mr. Grindelwald's. Hermione, maybe Mr. Grindelwald is also inquiring about your situation now. Be confident, and don't forget that we are Lawin Keluo. We are knowledgeable, smart, fair, and wise, and we have vision, but we never feel inferior because these advantages are our confidence. Qiu Zhang's enlightenment obviously had an effect. Hermione changed from the dullness just now and said with a smile, I never expected that you would be so good at explaining others. Qiu Zhang shrugged, and just as he was about to speak, he saw Lucas coming from a distance. Hey, someone's knight is coming. Why, are you envious? If it's you, I don't mind. And oh, the boy I like must be able to play Quidditch, and he must be better than me. Lucas watched the two beauties run into the restaurant. Doubt was written all over his face. Could it be that he is some kind of scourge? How did you see yourself running away instead? Come to the restaurant. Lucas went straight to La One Keluo's long table. He is also considered a little famous now, and he's talking about a good reputation here. Seeing Lucas walking towards him, many girls in La One Keluo start to organize their clothes. For the learned La One Keluo, Lucas, who is also knowledgeable and wise, attracts their attention very much. Pity, Lucas didn't look for them, but sat directly next to Hermione. Beautiful lady, can I sit here and eat? Handsome sir, haven't you already sat down? Lucas probably understood at this moment why Hermione was afraid to face himself. He looked at each other and said seriously, Hermione, I think the two of us need to talk. Okay, what are we talking about? Lucas thought for a moment before saying, I found that you've been weird since breakfast, but you don't look like you're being bullied. So, can you tell me why? Hermione lowered her head and whispered, It's nothing. It's all just my own wild imagination. Really? I thought you were upset that Professor Snape didn't give you a point. Hermione suddenly looked to her side. You know? Of course, I went to Hufflepuff specifically to ask the person who took the class with you. He did ask. Hermione stared blankly at the blonde boy beside her. I couldn't help but think back to Qiu Zhang's words just now. Perhaps Mr. Grindelwald is inquiring about you right now. Hermione's tense body gradually relaxed, and a smile appeared on her face. "Oomph. I'm Hermione Granger of Winkelluo. Just watch. I will definitely ask Professor Snape to add points for Winkelluo." Ambitious. Then I wish Miss Hermione success. Lucas was relieved to see Hermione back to normal. After taking a few casual bites, Lucas got up to leave. "Only eat this little?" Hermione asked curiously. "Principal Dumbledore has something to do with me. I have to go to the principal's office now. Let's go first." Looking at Lucas hurried back. Hermione thought for a while and took an apple and put it in her pocket. On the 8th floor, in front of the double-headed stone beast. Lemon sorbet, as the password sounded.
No more novels? Take part in the voting. The most requested novels and those with the most likes will be chosen for publication on euroaudiobooks.com. There, I can upload as much as I want without the risk of receiving a strike. Our 18 novels and other content that exceed what is morally acceptable are only published on Patreon or the free novels page. Remember, the site is funded by donations on Ko-fi and Patreon memberships.